Hello, everybody. We are Easy Allies. Welcome to our Tuesday night group stream. Sometimes we play games.
He claps for himself.
We
did it.
Soft clap.
We're having our own press conference.
Oh, wait, we don't chat? Is that normal?
Sometimes, you should probably get chat up. I'll get chat up. Sarah, what are you doing? I'm good. I'm stopping. Sometimes we play games here on group streams. Sometimes we play games against each other. Sometimes the competition is so great that it threatens to tear apart the wonderful fabric here that we have at Easy Allies. That event, as you may or might not know, is called the Hall of Greats. We have a hall, a metaphorical hall in our minds. It's not an actual physical hall yet.
Yet.
But it is a place where we hoist up the greatest games that have ever been created in the history of this industry. And to decide what those games are, not the nominees, but the actual Hall of Greats, we go through the emotional trial that you are about to witness. How this is going to break down is individually, we are going to sit here in the center of this couch. We are going to address our fellow allies and our lovely community. And we are going to, for 5 minutes, talk about why we consider our submission, our nomination, to be one of the greatest games of all time. And then for an additional 5 minutes, that person is subject to cross-examination, questions, concerns, comments from the peanut gallery surrounding the couch. And that person has to answer or defend or just allow those criticisms to pass through. And then, once all of the games are introduced, we officially vote via the old Werehog coffee can method on what are
We
the
never
actual...
revealed those were coffee cans before.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a spoiler? the whole
It's a
Hall
peek
of
behind
Greats
the curtain. It's just a little peek behind the curtain,
came
John.
just crumbling down. But you decorated them.
My
really well.
immersion,
What's
dude!
Yeah.
Is that just like colorful tape that you wrap around
Yeah,
them?
that's colorful
They're
tape.
beautiful.
Yeah.
We fill those with many votes or potentially no votes at all. And then once we're done with the voting process, which we will do individually, and thankfully we'll look better than ever with our beautiful new cameras, one by one we will address you, the community, by ourselves in a little one-on-one powwow where we will vote for what games we want to vote for. Each ally will be given 6 werehogs. 3 will go to their favorite game, 2 will go to their second favorite game, and only 1 werehog will go to the third. There are also some special contingencies. I'm probably going to throw it to you, Kyle, just to make sure, because I know some have been introduced and then possibly retracted. If a game receives no votes, then it is not allowed to be brought back to Hall of Greats for another full year. Is that still the case?
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
No votes outside of yourself. Oh, you can't vote for yourself anymore.
You cannot vote for your own game.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you're right. If you can just say no votes now. Now eligible. World of Warcraft is now eligible.
True.
And what was the other game a year ago? I can't remember. There was one other game that became SimCity. It was SimCity.
Oh.
SimCity
Second
and World
chance,
of Warcraft
Don.
are now eligible again.
Something to consider.
They spent a year in the jail and they're out. They're out of the jail.
And we also have some fun gifts to open tonight, and of course, hopefully it won't be all just the brutal bloodbath to determine the best games of all time. Hopefully we will also enjoy each other's company just a little bit. Any other special rules and considerations? Damiani, are you set? Is there anything you need to let our audience know?
Nope.
Before we begin.
We are
Any other crazy
Jones,
rules?
I think you nailed it, dude. You patiently explained it in an exciting manner.
We're a little scatterbrained tonight, huh?
Smells like smoke in here.
Yeah, it's like on fire.
There's a campfire right outside.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, good memory on those.
Pro
Those are the right 2.
Just speaking to the Pro Controller.
Why do you have a
and we also...
That's better. That's better. Why? Why does he have that?
A little bit of hiss coming through the Pro Controller.
He was playing Mario earlier. Aces.
Oh.
Mario Aces.
There, now you...
Show him Kyle how to play.
He put on a legit clinic. He showed me how to play.
Sick.
Yeah,
Took
Damiani
you to the
was
lab, dude.
He was a
Hello!
Hello?
You're out of focus, chat.
Well, he showed me story mode, where you got to be Mario.
Who do you think he's keeping that secret? I see.
There we go.
He's playing Spike.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, your mic's still up.
Like, I respect it.
Everything's great now.
Can I guess? My guess is
yeah.
Damiani likes Rosalina. Damiani, who do you play as in Mario Tennis?
Mario.
Oh!
Nice.
Clinic. Clinic.
All right.
Putting on a clinic.
Alright, I'm like...
How'd that sound right next to the mic?
Really good.
Anyone want to make a horror game?
You want to cut that for me?
Do I want to make a horror game?
Well, after that sound.
Boop.
Sure.
Who's it gonna be?
Huh? The game is called.
The first person to pitch their game to this group will be Mr. Daniel Bloodworth.
Oh, man.
Get in the middle, blood. I'll time you.
All right.
Get in the middle. I'll time you. Blood. I'll time you.
He's got his book.
He's got the book.
I got a book
He's
with
got
almost
the book.
no notes in it,
Book of
but
blood.
Yeah.
First time, every
That
time.
book spills votes.
Cyberpunk.
That book's
Cyberpunk. One of the greats.
that'll be hilarious.
That might give it one.
That'd be a bold.
I might get one.
Now this game doesn't come out for another 7 years. But hear me out.
The people that made the game don't know how good it is yet.
All right, bud. Looking the camera over here.
Dude.
Can we see it?
Oh, you want to see it? Sure.
Just so I can see if the shot sucks.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
What? Too
camera.
blasted tall.
Yeah. I mean,
Slouch a little.
Slouch a little,
I actually
blood.
am.
I actually am.
Slouch for me.
How's that?
I mean, this is straight. But,
Okay.
All right.
You don't have to look into it if you don't
All right.
want.
I can move it if you don't want to see yourself anymore.
We just
it is
need
fun. Like, yeah.
Huh?
No, you said a direct camera thing.
Timing?
All right.
Ian,
I'm
timing.
timing. Ian's got the timer. Yep.
All right. So as soon as you begin, I'll cut to you.
Good luck, Bloodworth.
Good luck.
Bloodworth.
All right. So, it is time to nominate, once again, Dragon Quest VIII.
Yeah!
This is the last shot before 11 comes out. It needs to be done. It needs to happen. Dragon Quest VIII. It is the realization of the classic JRPG in a modern setting, in a modern context, without any like weird like battle systems or crazy stuff going on. Like it's just like that beautiful template that has defined so many different games. Like you've got your party of adventurers going out on a quest in the world, going from town to town, meeting different peoples, going to casinos, which is something I remember from all like the original like early RPGs on the PC and the NES. And you've got random battles, you got turn-based battles. It's like if you want to know like the height of what a JRPG can be, like it's Dragon Quest VIII. And you've got in there like some of the things that they do, like not just for like the original template, but you've got this beautiful realized world where you can wander and explore and look out on the horizon and just like admire the places you're going. You've got the bustling towns you've got these characters that feel like real characters that you can relate to, that have stories that you can when you buy new armor and weapons, like you can actually like see those things on them. You can choose what kinds of weapons you want for your characters and like kind of go with a style in that sense. You've also got this like other party of people tagging along, adding to the story. You've got the alchemy pot, which is so fun to experiment with, to like get random ingredients and throw them in there, throw them together. Saving up money feels valuable, as Dragon Quest has always done. It's like there's partly the experience, but there's also partly like, okay, I need to go up and get some funds because I want to like get that weapon, and the alchemy pot is part of that, it just really like brings all that in. And one of the things that's really cool and great and weird about Dragon Quest is that, like, 20, 30 years on, like, they're still using a lot of the same things as callbacks. Like, you still see some of the same monster designs, but now, like, here they are. They're brought to life. They're, like, really animated when they used to just be, like, a flat image that would flash on the screen. Now they're bouncing around. They're, like, doing little flips and things. You just got so much personality and joy in every single combat encounter that you come across. And then you've got these like old school sound effects, like when you go like into a cave or into a shop or something, And then you've got the music, which a lot of the music is like still carried over, but like it's been like fully brought to the highest that it could be, you know, with the full orchestral recording. And then there are other things in there like the monster arena, where you can get in there and you can battle monsters. You can just get sucked into all of that. And the game is just really, really massive as well. It takes a lot of different fun turns and twists as you go through the story. And like it can easily take you, you know, over 100 hours to get through. And then even after that, there is a post game. So you like, it's really like if there's one game that you want to play to define what a JRPG is and what that experience is like, it is Dragon Quest VIII.
You see the rest of your time?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
I will
Time already.
begin the cross-examination timer upon the first question. 5 minutes for questions. And remember, the questions get pretty brutal, but it's all in good fun.
I got nothing.
I also have nothing.
I got nothing.
Why was Dragon Quest IX on a handheld? I just want to know. That's not necessarily a
because,
rebuttal,
I
but just
mean-
like, if it was so awesome and 8 was just something we keep coming back to and keep saying how amazing it was, how come Final Fantasy got the edge and they've kept doing PC console
Dragon
updates?
Quest tradition is to put it on the most popular console, which at the time was the DS. Like, just hands down, like there was not a better thing to put it on. The PS3 did not have the install base that the DS had.
Blood, what you proposed, what you submitted to us, was a game that did a lot of old things well. But what did this game do on its own? What did it innovate? What did it change?
I think that's the weird beauty of Dragon Quest, is that it can make the old things feel new again. Like all of these things that you would think in like typically a lot of other games, like, well, I've been there and I've done that. Dragon Quest just pulls it off in such a great way to where it just feels refreshing. It feels great to go back to a lot of these old conventions. And it's just something like very cathartic about playing 8 in particular. Like I would say, like even some of the other games going back to, that's a lot harder to do than going back to 8.
What'd you say about the forehead size of the character design?
Eye width. What's the discussion?
That's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yangus, man. There's a character.
Does that character ever challenge you, though, or is he just a goofball the whole time?
He's a good guy.
I have a question. I heard, and maybe this is wrong, I don't even know. How many hours before you get to the meat and potatoes of this game? Isn't it like 30?
What? I'm not sure what you mean by meat and potatoes, because I mean there are definitely some.
Like the main story, does it not start? Does it or does it not start 20 minutes into this game? Daniel Bloodworth. I don't know. Is that even this game? Is
Fair
that
question.
right? Is that
Fair
good?
question.
Okay.
When do we start getting new attacks? When do we start rolling in this
Yeah.
the combat system?
Yeah,
How
I
many
mean,
hours into the game are
I
they
don't
still
think
giving
you
you
have like
tutorials?
that. Yeah, I don't think you have that kind of problem. I mean, there's a little tutorial with the mouse. It wasn't even really a tutorial, like prologue thing with the mouse.
But I mean, the
feel
main
like you get
storyline.
right into it.
Does
Yeah.
the main storyline not start?
Like you
for
actually
long?
kind of start like without like you have to like get flashbacks to see what happened to get
yeah.
you there. Like you're like right in the middle of it.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of 9 or something.
The first arc was the guy who like trained the main villain.
Mhm.
So you go look for his like spirit ball thing.
Do you remember what happens in the last 5 hours of this game?
I don't. It's been a long time.
Shock you!
That's damning. That's damning.
I mean, yeah, sure.
So, Blood, like Brad, it is hard to come up with stuff to sling at it, and I agree with everything that you're saying. But you're describing a game with great characters, with a great look to it, and with a great atmosphere. All of those things that are very important, especially when you're playing a game for as long as Dragon Quest VIII is. But there are a lot of great RPGs with great characters, great atmosphere. Comparing it against other juggernauts, right? Like just for the sake of it, for the sake of Hall of Greatness, why would you say, hey, you should play this over those other things? What does it? It does a lot of things excellently, but what does it do that is unique to Dragon Quest VIII in your opinion?
I mean, in a way, it's kind of like what we were talking about with Kyle. Like, I think a lot of these things that other JRPGs do, it's like it takes a spin. You know, they have their own spin on things, but like Dragon Quest in a way is sort of like the core of like what makes these things great. You know, and like it kind of has that focus in a sense, while again like bringing in its own little quirks like the monster battles and the casinos and the alchemy pot. But I think it's like one of those things where like it has that core down so well that like that kind of stands out without having like all this other little things bolted onto it.
Nitpicky question, admittedly. Are we talking about the PS2 version or the 3DS version, of which there are significant differences?
I'm particularly talking about the PS2 version.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't put any time into the 3DS.
Okay.
Pick a card. What camera am I showing it to?
The main one.
Main one, I guess.
Damiani.
So,
Damiani!
I just remembered something that I wanted to propose as a rule.
All right, great.
This idea that it has to be like a single version of a game.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that's weird.
I think we can just say the game. I think from now on we can just say the game, and it's like
Okay.
I was only doing that because, like, in the 3DS version, right, you see monsters in the environment, and, like, I think that's a pretty big change, and so I thought it would be worth asking about.
So I think we're just, like,
some stuff too.
we're talking about, like, the best elements of all versions. You know what I mean?
I object for the record. Let the record show. Did I object?
You object to that?
Some games have multiple versions. I believe that is an unfair advantage. If a game is released on its own and then does not have subsequent versions, I don't think that necessarily makes that game better, but it kind of gets in your head. Like, how many Skyrims have we had? I mean, that must be a great game if they made it so many times.
Well, it's true, right?
But I mean,
I don't think it is true of a game you're
saying,
like, you'd be like, it's in VR. It's like, well, what version are you talking about? Are you talking about VR? Because that's only in VR. It's not, you know what I mean? So, like, you could potentially add a lot of stuff onto it. I'm the only person making a stink here. So
it's like you think of, like, for like athletes, yes, but like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you know what I mean? Like, you live in a band, but it's not like, well, which version of the band?
Right, sure.
You know what I mean?
Which guitarist?
Yeah,
what era?
And so, yeah,
the good one.
I think you gotta, like, think of the game's legacy.
I think as often as that argument could be made, the opposite argument could be made, where it's like, well, that version had, like, awful controls, or, like, the graphics were terrible in this one and great in this one.
Right.
But
I mean,
the same game.
That's exactly the case in Dragon Quest VIII that is so weird, is there's stuff I would take from the PS2 version, stuff from the 3DS version.
I say do it, dude.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do in your votes, go for it.
Yeah, I think it's like, you know, like, you know what I'm saying, like, there's different cases, like, you know, again, like, going back to Street Fighter 2, to me, like, the thing that was great about Street Fighter 2 was that it was, like, you could play it, no matter, like, how you played video games at that time. You could play it in the arcade, you could play it on the Genesis, you could play it on the Super Nintendo. Sure, there were probably versions you don't want to play, like, some stupid, like, Amiga port, or, like, you know, the LCD Tiger Electronics version. Like, that's not what we're talking about.
What if we make it? What if we make it the choice of the presenter to be like, I'm specifically bringing the PS2 version, or any version is considerable.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, there are, like, you know, like Resident Evil.
I feel like the game is
the remake is clearly a different game.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Like Resident Evil Remake is a different game.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on board. I think it's a good conversation to have.
I agree. Definitely.
Yeah.
Can I bring up video game publisher?
What? Let me tell you, as someone who tried to bring a tabletop game, don't try it.
You're gonna have a bad time.
I'm about to have a bad time.
Activision. Would that be cool?
No.
Okay. All right.
Activision in 5 minutes.
What about this? It would not be cool, and I want you to do it.
Now, Ubisoft.
Today, I bring electronic.
Someone up there.
What's that?
Oh, just to click.
Do some switcheroos?
So, well,
What are you
no.
talking
There, well, someone to switch it, but also
Oh, here. I'll do it.
the game logo. There's a layer for each of us. It should say like logo _ Damiani.
Whoa.
Don't click it till
Till he's
I
revealed
say
it.
Yeah, that's
All
what
right.
I've been doing.
All right.
Ooh.
Hang on to your butts.
Let me know it's the close up on me and you get
You're
the
so
time.
ready to write right now.
All right.
And
All right.
close up on me.
I'm just kidding.
You're on the close-up,
Always looking
All right,
good.
ready?
Brandon
Good luck,
Jones.
which is over there if you care to look into it.
Okay, it's right there.
But yeah, here's your time. I'll
Alright.
start when you start.
All right, I'll do a more dramatic reveal this time. 'Cause chat was like, "You missed the reactions." Because Blood just said it. I was like, "Ah, crap!" Late, and everyone reacted. I was like, "Eh, missed it." Anyway,
Okay.
here we go. So my selection for the summer 2018 Hall of Greats is from a publisher that has a fantastic pedigree. And with the game I'm going to nominate, they did something unthinkable. They did something that, in the lead up to the game's release, everyone thought was simply not possible. They got a lot of flack for it. People said it was going to turn out terrible, had no faith in this. Something that this studio has had to deal with in their more recent releases and rumored releases. And I am, of course, talking about Retro Studios' Metroid Prime for the GameCube. This is
Settle in.
Metroid Prime is a game that defied expectations because it so brilliantly captured the very essence of what made Metroid while still feeling like a new game. Retro Studios managed to do what the best internal Nintendo teams could not figure out during the N64 era, which was to make a 3D Metroid game. For whatever reason, they just cannot make it a reality, and they turned it over to Austin-based Retro Studios, and everyone lost their mind about a Western developer handling Metroid and turning it into a shooter. And when it came out, everyone was just spectacularly proven wrong with its greatness. So this game, to me, Metroid Prime, it nailed the sense of exploration in the sense of what you experienced in previous Metroid games, most specifically Super Metroid. It required you to use all the tools at your disposal, all your weapons, all your missiles, all the scanner system, to basically make your way forward through the world, to find hidden passages, to uncover hidden items. It literally felt like the same thing you were getting in 2D in Super Metroid, but now in 3D. Love the fact that you got to see little like ledges or doors that you couldn't get past just yet, and you're like, I'm gonna have to come back to these later. It had the really good amount of backtracking that you expected, because you would get power-ups, come back, and you felt so good that you could tackle those new passages, unlock those shortcuts essentially. And I really liked the scanning system at the time for the first entry, because it felt like a very, very fluid in-game way to communicate with the player, to get information on their surroundings, on objectives, on enemies, to like learn their weaknesses and stuff, and adding it to a database compendium essentially to reference. And it was actually an act you did rather than some like tutorial system or the game interrupting like, hey, here's the boss and here's your companion who's going to talk to you about what its weaknesses are. Didn't do anything like that. Another thing I loved about this game was just how movement felt. First and foremost, the platforming aspect of this game. It preserved the same platforming experience I had in 2D in 3D. Having to climb up, that verticality, also dealing with enemies. You got knocked off falling down, you had like that same frustration, but you had to get back up there. Really liked that. I liked the morph ball in this game. They got it right. They actually let you see it in third person. So the few times you break the first person perspective and go into that third person to navigate, but also they utilized it for like the side scrolling segments, these nice little like bridges between areas where you had like a little mixture of puzzle elements and platforming elements. And sometimes it seemed straightforward, other times they're almost every time there'd be like a hidden like energy tank or something just hidden in there if you wanted to go like that extra mile to like solve the puzzle just a slightly different way. Really good. I really like the battle sequences in this game, just combat in general. I know it was in first person, but the lock-on system felt really good. Like the strafing, the jumping, using all these mechanics, it felt like it was recreating the fight sequences that I had in previous Metroid games, with having to like jump up, jump sideways, like floating in midair and still like shooting and trying to lock on a target. Was like really intense, and just some really good boss battles. And I also really loved how this game felt so familiar at times with the atmosphere. Like the first time you get to like Magmore Caverns and you hear like the version of Norfair, and you're like, yes, this feels right. Like this like intense burning inferno.
Time.
No! And Adventure on Adrift was amazing!
That's a yellow card. That's a yellow card.
Straight up yellow card.
That's a yellow card.
That was my last thing. I literally was in on that. I was so close. Strike that from the record.
It is stricken.
Cool.
I'll start the timer when cross-examination begins.
Damiani, do you also enjoy the very end game part where you have to go find items without any hints of where they are?
I do, and let me also say, like, it was an absolute pleasure going to Vendrana Drifts and hearing that music, and Ridley flying over for the first time with that shadow.
Yes!
Yes! I will not stop. Anyway, but seriously, Kyle.
Yes.
That was a great part because you were like, okay, we're not giving you any more direction.
Yeah.
Like, you might have had some, like, if you had it turned on, the map will alert you, oh, there's a disturbance over here, your sensors picked it up. Now it's like, no. Use every single tool you now have at your disposal to find these artifacts. And, like, that was great because you were already familiarized with the environments, or you should have been if you were paying attention. It was basically how well do you know the environments and how can you decipher those clues to those artifact locations. And I actually really liked that. You know what? Zelda, the Wind Waker should have done that for the Triforce quest. It would have been amazing.
What do you feel about the map hint system? Because with it turned on, it kind of like butts in and tells you where to go a little too often. But then if you turn it off, then the map design doesn't necessarily naturally lead you to where you should be using a new item, and you just end up kind of wandering around and forcing yourself to like, oh, okay, I gotta put a hint on because I'm not gonna figure this out.
I mean, if that is the experience you had, I mean, that's not what I ultimately had. I had it on, but I would usually be able to progress to a part where I was like, oh, I should be exploring this area, and I would end up being mostly in the area. It'd be like, oh, a sensor thing goes off. I like the option that you can turn it off. It actually is just like Breath of the Wild, where you can like just turn off all HUD mini-map stuff and just go like make your own notes and stuff like that. If you want to go that way, that's almost like what Kyle was asking about. The end of the game is pretty much the same thing. If you want to go for like basically a hard mode, you just turn it all off. And same thing like in like the old Metroid games, especially the ones without the maps. Like Metroid, original Metroid, Metroid 2. Like you're not getting any hints about that stuff. Like it's go explore the areas, and like if you can't like figure it out, it's like use your like think like critically, like what tools do I have, what can they do, is there like something I missed. Like it's not quite it's not as infuriating or annoying as pixel hunting, but I think it actually pushes back against you to be pay a little bit more attention and just like calm down and think. I think a lot of times in like Metroid and other similar like those puzzle segments or what to do next, people are just like in a rush, or like they just like they think like things are going well and they get that like pushback, and they don't do so well with it. But again, you can totally turn on the hints, as you said. If you really get that frustrated, it's there. Turn it back on. Like they thought of both. I feel like I think as long as you toggle between either one, you'll get a good experience.
What about the lame plant boss and the lame rock boss?
The plant boss is not lame. What are you talking about?
It's just a big plant.
Explain. Like you talking about design or mechanics?
Design.
What?
Are you scared of a big plant?
Explain to me a cool plant boss.
There's no such thing.
The Wind Waker.
Audrey 2.
What?
Manhandler?
That's not from a
Also a
game.
good one. That's a different game. It's
Are you giving me better bosses than exist in your
No, I'm
nominee
giving
for
you
one of the
other
greats?
examples of good plant bosses.
Well, this is not one of them.
What are you talking about? It was cool. You had to like turn up the mirrors and stuff and kill it.
Listen, I love turning mirrors.
And the rock one? What's wrong with the rock boss?
It's just a bunch of rocks.
That was intimidating as crap. It's like coming at you. You're like, what the? Like that's what's supposed to be imposing and stuff. Like. I'm sorry, Kyle.
I did not feel
I'm sorry
opposed
you're like
upon.
rock Pokemon like sprites at the time were like more intimidating. Oh no, Onyx looks rock dragon.
Onyx is awesome.
It is awesome, but like they're both awesome.
Make a case for the level design, Damiani. I remember a lot of backtracking.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just trying here, man. Super Metroid has a legacy of just the map and like slowly peeling back the layers, finding new items, using those in places. Do you think Metroid Prime lives up to that legacy?
Oh, I think it definitely does, because each zone, you clearly had multiple paths you could go, and early on, it would show you, oh, like, there's this big vertical chamber, and I see these, like, grooves on the side, like, maybe Morph Ball? Oh, I don't have something to attach, like, okay, I'm gonna, like, it was very clear, and I think, to me, obvious what you needed.
Time!
Yes, baby.
Good job, Damiani.
Well done.
Jeez.
Yeah, killers.
All dropping bombs, dude.
Killers.
Exhausted back
I
here.
know. Whew. It sucks when you're like trying to come up with something and you're like, wait, I disagree with my own thing that I'm saying.
The entire time he's presenting.
The Fool, Don Casanova. Alright, give me a sec, Don.
The Fool.
Hello, everybody.
This is
Hi,
gonna be
Don.
interesting because...
Careful, man. Don't start your timer, man.
Oh, no, I'm
actually-
going to do something tonight that's never been done
So
before in all of
You're
great.
gonna probably have to come over here and I'll
That's
switch
right.
the camera forward.
I'm going to be presenting from behind.
Risky.
What the
computer.
hell?
Yeah.
Give me a sec, Don.
Jones,
I'll give them a little background.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
I'll give them some
Damiani,
background. I'll
Make
give
sure
them
you
some
put
background.
the camera.
Don
up
has
so we
proven
can
to be
still
technically
see him.
proficient. This
Oh,
is
he's gonna take my seat.
this is.
Well, no, but
we gotta
put it
see.
up. Put it up on the TV so we can see Don.
No, you're gonna see what he's doing.
Yeah, you'll
want
see what's
though.
happening.
All right.
So what
What?
happened?
We can currently see
Everyone
it
calm
right
down.
I think we're about to get a live gameplay demo.
That's right.
I think so.
Last time I brought a bunch of documents with me. 1 year ago today, I brought documents. I haven't started yet. I'm just.
Kind of seems.
Wait,
Wait a minute.
Hang on, I'm confused.
Wait until Damiani's ready.
As
Do
the
not say another
timekeeper.
I was
word.
giving them a little background.
Let's go
background.
Background is part of it.
Starts part of it.
All right.
That's a yellow card, guys.
Background.
All right,
How
it's
is
starting?
Flying today.
Wait, is it starting?
That's a yellow card.
Somebody tell me when to start.
When he's sitting down.
How many yellow cards do you
Oh,
got?
from here?
One other request.
Should we all close our eyes?
Just close
Just
your
one more
eyes.
card, Don.
Close your
Everyone
eyes.
close
Just
your
go
eyes.
on.
Hey,
Eyes.
everybody close your eyes so we don't see what they're setting up.
Ian.
We don't have plans for a red card, but we'll know when we get there.
Running out of time in the past.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to get a Coke?
No.
No.
A 3-minute warning.
I'll give you a
A
3.
2-minute warning.
Or give you a
I'm just gonna get some
1
barbecue.
minute
Excuse me.
warning.
Excuse me, everybody.
And 30 seconds.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, and 30? Okay.
So demanding.
Don, I have to say, I saw a little thing came up that you were playing this the other day, and I was like, I bet this is what it's going to be. Hang on, open your eyes.
Nervous.
Suspension's killing me.
Yeah, I'm shaking right now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh,
So
Don is wait, we got a lot of buckles.
Let's go, dude.
Maybe it's trying to do some kind of.
Rip audio? What's happening?
Here we go. I think. There we go.
Good now.
It needs to be good.
They say the stream is dead. We're good
Sounds
now.
like The
Fixed?
Sims.
Okay.
My guess is The Sims.
This is.
We should
It's a good thing we didn't start
cool borders.
timing.
Cool borders isn't right.
99, right? When they get
It's gonna take a full 5 minutes for this game
Think
to
so.
start.
You might be right.
Maybe.
You might be right.
I don't know.
Dead Studio.
My guess is that that Alice game where she's got a bloody
Alice Madness?
Alice
Return?
Madness Returns?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude,
Okay.
Alice Madness Returns would be a bold bring.
Yeah.
Is that?
Dude, that'd be the best.
That'd be the best.
Is that on PC at all?
No, I don't think so.
Rodriguez.
I think it was just PS3 and 360.
Should we rotate to the next person while we set this up?
I mean, he's breaking the PC constantly, so not really.
Group shot for what the chat's saying.
How you doing, chat?
How you doing, chat?
No, we can't look still. Actually,
They keep breaking the computer, so we're not even sure if chat can
Can
see
you
us.
look at you?
How do you not vote for Metroid Prime?
Hit play?
Exactly. How do you not vote for Dragon Age?
Vote for
You can also watch the scene, and then you can sit and drive it from there.
Maybe Don could just give a speech.
Fair enough.
All right, sorry. 1 sec, chat. Almost
Okay.
ready.
I could have been filling them in on all the background during this time.
We won't
That would
allow
not
it.
be fair, Don.
We won't allow it.
Your presentation has to suffer this. This is part of your presentation score.
Really, we should have been timing.
Yes.
What?
Uh huh.
All right, I'm gonna do like
Next
this
time, kid.
so we can have
I'm
this
only going to ask questions about why it took so long to load the game that he's claiming should be in the Hall of Greats.
It's changing my perception of the game.
If it was a
All right,
great game,
do you want to do like the intro
Why
first
didn't
and
it
then run
work
over here when
right
we're
now?
ready?
No, I'll just.
Why was there a struggle to make the game
Nah,
even
this game always
start?
took forever.
That's just Windows 10.
Is the first question that I'm going to have.
All right,
Windows 10.
here we go.
Yeah, I don't need to be visible. Just the game, whatever is easiest.
Is it?
It's all good. This is
Is
live.
the
I'll
is the
switch over
stream
whenever you're
working?
ready.
Stream's
Okay.
working.
And I'll let you sit.
Okay.
Okay.
Want me
This
to cut
intro,
this now?
dude.
I'm ready. Yeah, you can cut this out.
Cut it.
All right, Go ahead, Don.
We need
Okay.
the sound.
Okay.
Can we
Yes,
open our
not-
eyes?
We're
Yes.
live.
Yeah.
Are you starting?
Oh shoot! It switched back. Why?
Damn it.
My eyes are open, man.
There you go.
Okay.
My
Here we
eyes
go.
are open.
We're good.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, everybody. As you know, 1 year ago today, I brought the
my
best simulation game ever created in the history of video games. I got a little flustered with the documentation I brought with me. I ran out of time, and ultimately I couldn't show you some of the coolest things, what truly makes this game one of the greats. Now, unfortunately, I still was not able to obtain any save files, but we don't need that for tonight's demonstration. We're gonna go right in. Now, actually, there's one other thing I want to show you. Hold on. Exit the region. All right, first of all, SimCity. Look at this region map, okay? SimCity 4. You can pick any one of these to start, develop your cities, and the more cities you build, these are all interconnected. You get trade deals, you have political bargains, all kinds of stuff, specifics that can be worked out for making money or losing money, obtaining resources, importing, exporting. I went over this kind of stuff last time. I'm just trying to give you a little refresher. We go into one of the areas. The smallest area on that map is bigger than the biggest area in the new SimCity reboot. Now look, one of the problems with the simulation genre is that most of the games, believe it or not, are really not true simulations. They're kind of like what I like to call simulation simulators, I guess you'd call it, right? They got some algorithms running, you get a certain amount of specific data, but they're not giving you a true 100% simulation. How do you know? Well, SimCity is one of the only games to this day that provides you the level of detail, data, and graphs, information that is very specific and can be cross-referenced, okay, to prove that the system underneath the simulation is truly working. Let's take a look at what I mean, okay? We zoom in on the map here a little. Now let me just show you one of the examples. Uh-oh, keyboard. There we go, okay. One of the examples of what's happening here. Now, you guys can see the map, yes? Okay. This guy has something. All right, so now let's look at our views here. Okay, many simulation games you may see something very generic like this. I'm just going to start off and give you one example of how you can use the data, the graphs, the information they give you in order to play this game. Alright, look what we have here. We have general opinions of what are happening with our safety, land value, education. Very general, right? Education's red. I want to drill into this. I want to make my education in this place better for lots of reasons. It's going to bleed over into all kinds of other things. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to check out these data views. Look at all these different data views that you get specific information on. It gets better. But for now, we're just focusing on education. Let's see what's happening. Look what's happening. We have poor education in here. Okay, we open up this mini map. We get a better idea of what we're looking at. Poor education here. This is your school right here, right? So let's check out what's happening here.
2
How can
minutes,
we
Don.
improve the education? How much?
2 minutes.
I told you to give me a warning at 3. Holy
did!
smokes, we're in trouble.
I did.
Oh my god, 2 minutes. All right. We'll just try to focus. All right, this... I'm rattled. All right. The pine tree. Look at this. The school.
You're doing
All right.
great. Don't panic.
Okay.
Hold on. Pine tree.
Okay, this is a library, not a school. So we got a library. Local funding, 250. Number of books checked out, 10. 3,000 books in the collection. You have a slider here. You have controls over the number. See how I'm reducing the budget and it's reducing the number of books in the library, the number of people served by this library. Okay, those kind of specifics can be placed for everything from schools to ambulances to healthcare. Every single thing. Oh my god, I'm in so much trouble. Can be, oh god, it can be evaluated. I'm sorry. I'm nervous. I'm behind. All right.
Don, I'm sorry. 1 minute.
Oh my lord.
Don't panic.
Yeah, keep it together, Don. You got this.
Closing arguments.
All right. I don't have time to go over the graphs. Where's the car? I gotta drive a car. This is the wrong city. I didn't load up the right city. There's no cars driving around. You can take control of a car and drive it through the streets. I was leaving that for last. It's sort of like just...
Do it. You got
Just
30 seconds.
Down
Do
by
it.
the library.
No, there's none you can drive here.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, those are just...
Those are cars.
You know, so we see a neighborhood like this, for instance. We see there's an issue. People are out of work. You say, well, what do I need to do? You look at, you use a whole cross reference of information from the specific desirability. Look, you have all the different residential, low, medium, and high wealth, commercial, agricultural, industrial, right? You see what the biggest desires are, and then you can cross-reference it with these graphs and see, well, where do I want to put that? You can see where,
Time.
what?
Time?
time.
Keep it up, though, Don. Keep it running.
No, it's against the rules. Against the
We
rules.
can't
You
ask
know
you to
what?
Show us things?
No.
This was a disaster. Can I just,
You have to control X.
can
You
I
gotta
just
get out of there.
skip the cross-examination? There's really no point.
You may
Nay.
not. No.
Nay.
Well,
We have questions.
I can choose to not engage the criticism.
This is true.
You may choose to
It's
not
true.
engage.
Silence is an option.
Silence is an option.
Don, I have a question for you. If you were to tell me something I don't know about The Sims, what would it be?
SimCity, not
About
the Sims.
SimCity 4, I mean. About this game. If you were to tell me something that I don't know,
I would tell
that you
you,
would want me to know.
yeah, I would tell you about how the budgeting system. This is an inherent problem in most simulation, business management, or city managing games. You don't have a realistic challenge. This is your income and your expenses that everyone, you oversee a city. This is what you have to deal with. You truly start to understand why it's so hard to balance social services with the money you get from taxes, and how easy it is for a public official to be corrupted just by experiencing this. Let's drill into these a little bit so you see what I mean.
Can't do that, Black. Sit down.
Don, you gotta come back over here,
Sit down.
bud. You gotta come back onto the couch.
Don, has this game changed the way you view politics?
100%. It's made me understand politics in a lot of ways now. Because by playing the game, one of the most difficult things about it is managing your income and your expenses. And what you find when you're running a detailed, realistic simulation like this is you find that the money you pull in from taxes is often not enough, or just barely enough to cover a lot of the city services you need for people in order to have a healthy, happy community. So, even when your city grows to be a megalopolis and you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax money, if you want to run a healthy, happy city, it's a constant balancing act that never ever goes away. So your income, your expenses are always going to be just below your income, and so you see the draw to corruption because it's the only way to truly get money to have, you know, is you have to basically reduce services, and you need to in order, and it's very, very, very difficult, in other words, to keep a profitable city, to keep a city where you have cash on hand to deal with unexpected.
And wait, does the game simulate corrupt politicians?
No, I just gleaned that.
Oh, okay.
Is this one with UFOs?
Yeah, they're UFOs.
Nice.
Natural disasters?
There's volcanoes, UFOs, Godzilla, you name it.
But no mob.
There's riots, civil unrest.
But,
can you do this?
Yeah, but there's no dirty deals, no mob. That
No
sounds,
mafia.
Oh, mafia.
That does sound.
There's no mafia.
Sounds like that's missing from your
well,
what you want in a simulation.
Whoa.
There's not mafia, but you can do. I mean, yeah, I guess it's not mafia. You can do sort of like corrupt deals for money. I mean, you can legalize gambling. You can make certain sort of deals where you take on trash from neighboring cities to make money. There's kind of like underhanded type of things you can sort of do.
You can play
that
it dirty
in order to make easy money, right? But,
are there giant city buildings, like the city within a building that they had in SimCity 2000?
the arcs? They don't have those, but they have.
okay.
Yeah, they don't have futuristic like arcs.
Did you ever feel remorse for something you did in SimCity 4?
Oh, absolutely, 100%, Kyle. You get so into this game that you just you believe that, you know, this game accounts for every single citizen. It doesn't give you some random population and you don't know where they are. You can click on any house and not only see how many people live there, but where they work, how they go to work, you know, everything about them, their age group, their health, everything for every single person. To the point when you play this for, you know, you go some marathon sessions and you just walk out into the world and you just think, like, you ask yourself, am I really sure this right here, everything around me, isn't just like a sequel to SimCity 4 that was
Simulation
never released?
theory,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
We had some pretty cheerful music in the beginning there, and then when you were wrapping it up, it was almost kind of like a Michael Bay Bad Boys vibe. I don't know.
I did not like that music.
I don't know if I can handle that. Did that creepy music come in for any specific reason, or are you just on an emotional roller coaster in this game?
No, the music changes depending, obviously, on what you're dealing with. Yeah, so if there's disasters, it'll get very dramatic. Or if you're losing money or things aren't going good.
So
like
the
they
rampant
were.
lack of library book checkouts made it kick over to terrifying music.
It did make everybody read. When I saw when you turned down number of books, like they
Everyone was
became
like,
less educated.
I need to read Bonfire of the Vanities.
Yeah, there's a concept. You click on a school, it tells you how many students are there, what the capacity is, so you adjust the individual budget. For fire department, every single thing, you adjust the individual budgets. You're not just placing them. You reduce the school budget.
Time!
I botched it. I'm sorry. I apologize. I should have been more prepared.
And my dream is that within the next few years they do like a next-gen SimCity combo.
We already know what
Like
EA considers the next generation.
Seasons.
Phones.
Seasons.
No,
Phones.
the Command and Conquer.
Who is it?
Damn it. Okay.
Damn it! Come on down.
Okay, Damiani, so I'll cue the B-roll.
Juice.
Okay.
You want to do it?
Oh no, I'll just say Damiani.
Yeah, I'm done.
And then a little bit of
Do you have a laptop with HDMI out?
Damn it.
There's some talking, but it shouldn't be a problem.
I feel like that would have done it
I'll
right.
have it ready to
Oh,
go
okay.
here.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll wait for.
I'm gonna see some corn back here. Come on.
Jones, I don't feel like you're all in for the presentation if you're just going to sit back and chop on corn.
I mean, corn talks like that. All right, we can take a corn break. We'll take a quick corn break. Chat, we're just taking a corn break. How's everybody feeling in chat? You guys eating corn?
I'm excited to see something.
Call of Greats is this
How do you know?
weird thing where
It's
I
not
feel
it.
really relaxed and more
Everyone's
stressed out than ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I mean, it's a lot easier to feel relaxed when you're first.
yeah.
Yeah, once
Done.
you're done, I'm terrified right
Boy,
now.
it's hard. It's,
Can I
it's
run
hard to do
another
this.
rule that I was thinking about by you all?
What's that?
That somebody could use their proposition to take a game out of the Hall of Greats
What do you mean?
What?
So like, I propose to remove Street Fighter 2. Yeah, and then that person uses that, and if they get enough votes, the game's taken out.
That's dirty, Kyle. That's
Stop
dirty.
No.
It's even dirtier that you like.
So what are you targeting?
Jones, you got some corn, like,
Why? Because I ate it really
soot
fast.
on your face.
Yeah.
Can we?
I did do a courtesy
propose
wipe.
to
Am I
take
clear?
something out
I'm
of
on my
the,
teeth. I finally got it in my
the
teeth.
band realm,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
that's
I'll
not
work
a
on the teeth
nomination
while
for
you're
it.
doing
We're just using our spot to take something.
To do what?
Like, when you bring something and doesn't get any votes,
Yeah.
it's banned for a year.
Yeah.
What if you used your time to bring something out of there that wasn't a nomination,
It would
but
be
you just
unwise.
voted to
It would
bring
be
it
very
out?
unwise.
Too many rules. Too many rules.
Just make it eligible.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Just make it eligible.
I'm
again.
not bringing back SimCity 4, okay, guys?
I'm bringing it back. All right.
Don, I think it was bold, dude.
I think it was bold.
I'm sorry, I should
Really?
have practiced.
Hadn't been done in
Bold
Hall
is
of
the
Greats
right word.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was a
for
good idea.
2 firsts in Hall of Greats history.
Setting the precedent.
Have we ever had a salty run back before?
Yes.
No, yeah.
I've run 2 games that have come in.
Oh,
But
okay.
I didn't bring it.
Oh, okay. All right, ready, Damiani?
I'm
Don't
on you
cue
now.
it yet, but I'll start.
All right, I'm
What?
close up on you.
Okay, hi. I'll start now.
All right.
Since time immemorial, there have been 2 schools of horror.
Duh. Here we go.
More traditional horror and psychological horror. The latter has always been my fave, and with the dawn of the PlayStation 1, we had 2 camps, 2 juggernauts of video game history in the horror genre. That of survival horror of Resident Evil, and roll it, Damiani, the psychological horror of Silent Hill. I'm bringing Silent Hill 2 tonight because I think that it was the culmination, if you will, of everything that Silent Hill 1 brought to the table. Silent Hill 2 clarified it, refined it, and just perfected, dare I say, this particular brand of horror. And the main character, James Sunderland, everything in this game is motivated, is driven by James's own guilt. And the world of Silent Hill, while thinly defined in the first game, is really solidified in this game in, I think, a very, very compelling way, where it's never exactly defined, but you definitely get this eerie sense that the town itself is punishing you. And you get that through several of the characters in the game. You have various characters who are guilty. Maria is born from a dream, you might say, manifested by either James's own guilt and lust, or Mary's feelings of inadequacy for James while she was sick. This character is a victim of abuse, and the game handles it, I think, in a fairly reasonable way, actually. It shows her as scarred, as terrified, as vulnerable, and I think that's the through line for all of these characters, is that James is suffering from denial and guilt and repressed emotions that are manifesting in this town. So narratively, I think that this game is very compelling, very interesting, and I think that the game itself, gameplay-wise, is hugely improved on Silent Hill 1. I think that the gameplay was quite good for a survival horror, a psychological horror kind of game. James is not an adept fighter. He can't protect himself very well. I think that that's manifested in the controls and in the availability of certain weapons for him to use against the monstrosities that the town is manifesting to punish him for his deeds that he's manifesting himself. The music is very good, widely lauded as some of the best in the biz, and I think that it fits well with the tone of the game. But overall, there's just a feeling to Silent Hill 2. There's just this vibe that gets into your heart, and it affects you on a level that you don't see in a lot of other video games, I think. Like, This is a game that gets its hooks in you and stays with you for the rest of your life. You sort of empathize with James in a lot of weird ways, and it makes you feel almost like dirty also and guilty also. And I think that that's hugely impressive for a video game, not only of that time period, earlier in video game history, but just in general for a game to be that affecting emotionally, while still being compelling and fun to play and interesting. Just reading about the background of this game and the characters and the different endings that you can get is hugely interesting to me, and I think that that's really something special in the video games industry. Plus, it's just, oh man, it's got such good vibes. I'm just like looking at the footage here, but yeah, Silent Hill 2. I propose that it is one of the greats. Certainly, I think it's one of the chief horror games of all time, and one of my personal favorites. Never know how those go while you're doing it.
Right.
I'm just like blacked out.
Those logos look nice, dude.
They do look really nice.
Yeah, they're cool.
Are we going?
I'll start it when you start.
So, Ian.
Hey.
I love this game so much, but it is a game that I find very, very hard to go back to and replay because it's just so draining and so intense.
Yes. That's a feature.
It's kind of like I don't want to say one and done because I've beat it a few times over my life.
Yeah.
But it is a game I don't crave to play. Do you think that is an okay thing as a member of the Hall of Greats? Do you think that's okay?
Yes, I think I would equate it to some of the great films. Like, I mean, I don't know why, it's similar kind of modality, I guess, but think Requiem for a Dream, or like The White Ribbon, or any of these, like, Schindler's List, like, some of these, like, hugely affecting, terribly heavy, deep films that enrich your life. They make you ask these questions, they make you confront your own demons. And yeah, you don't really want to go back into that, because once you've got through it, it feels, there's this catharsis that you get when you beat Silent Hill 2. Antichrist, another good one. When you beat Silent Hill 2, it feels like you've made it through Silent Hill 2. And I think that, I would almost argue that that's a positive thing. It's so affecting and so intense that it is difficult to return to. And I've beaten it, I've gotten every ending, like, I've beaten it multiple times, you know, but just, like, cutting that video for last week's Easy Update, I was definitely feeling the vibes, you know? I was like, oh man, I forgot how heavy this is. Like, this lady self-immolates because she's so depressed, and it's just like, oh my god.
Do the vocal performances hold up?
I actually find them charming. Going back through this, they're definitely a little aged. They redid them for the HD remaster, which alas had a host of other issues. You know, so I don't really consider that to be the best way to play it. But I think that for the time in the burgeoning industry of vocal performance in video games, I think that it did pretty well. I don't think that, for me, it doesn't detract in a huge way from it. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a bit of an aged quality to the voice performances, certainly, but I don't really feel that it detracts.
Ian, this is also one of my personal favorites, and one that I was very close to bringing to the Hall of Greats. But a question for you that I have is, you talked about how James is not this fighter, and how kind of defenseless you feel, certainly at the beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the game, I really didn't. I felt that as my arsenal expanded, what they were throwing at me to fight was not threatening anymore.
Right.
And the boss fights, although thematically incredible, especially some of them, mechanically were not all that interesting. It was just kind of avoiding them, moving around the room, shooting, healing when you needed to, like pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a problem?
I definitely think that you could see it as a problem, yeah. But there is sort of an arc. Thinking through Silent Hill 2, there is sort of that arc where your proficiency increases with your kind of like burgeoning awareness of what's actually happening, right? So you are more equipped to deal with what's happening the closer to understanding what's happening you get. And like, you know, this is years after the fact. This is applying, you know, philosophical theory onto gameplay of a game from 97. When did this game come out? But you could, I think you could make an argument that as James gets closer to his understanding, the world becomes less threatening to him, which of course could just be, you know, making excuses. But I think that there is an argument to be made there.
Could you guess again when this game came out?
I want to say, I mean, I think it's like 97, 98?
No, that was PS1 era.
Oh, right.
PS2 was
So
2000,
2003?
2001, something, yeah.
2001.
2001.
Okay, 2001, yeah.
That's what Chad's saying.
Thank you, Chad.
September 24th.
2001?
Yes.
Okay.
Space Odyssey.
Yeah. Got, yeah, you're right. PS2 didn't exist yet. But yeah, I think that's part of it. And like, Pyramid Head, right? The most famous boss that I haven't even mentioned yet, because it speaks for himself, just the Eternal Punisher.
What question is that answering?
Well, I'm saying it's answering the boss fight. He beats himself because his job is done. Like, that's thematically in the story of the game. Like, you fight him until you face it, and then he beats himself. You know, actually two of them, but yeah.
There's two Pyramid Heads?
At the end, yeah.
Oh, how is the music?
He talked about it.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, wait. A Silent Hill 2 size weight is lifted from my
Good job,
shoulders.
Ian.
Thank
Yay.
you. Thanks.
We are almost halfway.
Next up, Kylie Bozeman.
You're right. You were always right down.
Yeah, you don't
What
want to
am
see
I-
my chicken scratch.
Yeah. We want to keep them the same.
Keep them consistent.
Whenever you're ready.
Whoa. Kyle has a speech.
Whoa, dude.
Listen, okay.
I'm on you, Kyle, whenever you're ready.
All right, this camera, right?
Yep.
So just to prepare you all, you can start timer. You are hearing the first draft of this presentation. Perhaps you'll hear the second draft next quarter. Basically, it's very frustrating to me that Mega Man Legends is not part of the Hall of Greats, and I think it's just because my fellow Easy Allies just aren't thinking about it the right way, and so I'm trying to think of ways to get you all to think of it differently, to really realize how good this game is. And so I was thinking about how in 3D games, when there's a thing in the distance, right? Sometimes it'll have a lower res texture just to save memory, right? And so like Unreal Engine does this, right? Where you run up to something too quick, it's like, oh, let me load in my texture, you know? But then like older games, like Mario 64, like Mega Man Legends, you sometimes had to do like custom resolutions. You had to make your own resolution or character model for each thing in the distance. And why I was thinking about that was I saw a PC video of Mega Man Legends running at like a way higher resolution than the game came out with, and it was like, doesn't this look good? No, look how good this looks. And it didn't look good because of the way the textures changed as you got close to them, because, you know, there's like 3 different textures depending on how close you are or far away from a building. And I realized that, like, in a weird way, unintentionally, I realize it's to save memory, but like in a rudimentary way, it kind of simulates human vision, because you can notice details more in a thing that's 5 feet away than you can in a thing that's 10 feet away. It kind of makes sense for things to become blurrier in a distance in a way. And I mean, we still have that in games today. Like, they still use that as a method. You don't make your own custom textures for each thing. I think they're more dynamically adapting to what's necessary. But where does that go? Mega Man Legends. So do you know in games that are like, I'm a retro styled game and like it's all pixel based, you know, it's like sprite work, but like they'll like twist them, you know, and they'll just have an arm move on an axis, and it's just like, it just doesn't look right. They'll have like pixels explode and expand, and just, it doesn't have that cohesiveness. I really hate that. I realize like it's easier to animate that. It's easier to animate like a puppet sprite than it is to actually animate each individual frame of a sprite-based thing. but to me, it loses that cohesion. It loses that. I think of like 2D and 3D animation, right? If you have to make a movie, you have to make an animated movie. Your job, essentially, first and foremost, is to get people in, to make people realize they're not watching a series of drawings, right? That they're into the world, that they believe in this. And I don't mean to say that I don't think that games can be abstract, but I think that games that are adventures, games that are stories, they absolutely need to draw you in. They need to put on this illusion that you're not just looking at polygons with textures wrapped over them, that you're looking at a world. And Mega Man Legends, to me, is a world in which you can believe that everything is made up of matter, in that everything is pixels, everything is this sprite-based work, but when you see a building in the distance running on a PlayStation 1, the pixels look the same size as the things close to you, so it actually, like, it has this cohesiveness, it has this world, this entire piece that you're part of, in a way that, like, at any moment you can just take a screenshot and everything makes sense in that world. It's like you can't just see far, tiny pixels in the distance. It's all kind of cohesive in this way that everything is made up of the same thing. That this is a believable world. Mega Man Legends deserves to be one of the greats. I bet there are a lot of people who will come to see this. Thank you so much.
That's brilliant.
Kyle.
Yes.
I have not played this game.
Yeah.
But from my understanding of it, it's at this very critical time in games. Super Mario 64, the original Tomb Raider,
yeah.
where a lot of developers were really trying to figure out and doing the best job they absolutely could in that era.
Yeah.
To have a character in 3D, give you complete control over them,
yeah.
and have them use their abilities. But there's so few of these games that I look back on now that I really think hold up in how they feel. And I think that's one of the main things that holds me back from Mega Man Legends is just the general speed of how the character moves and how the character attacks and how the character navigates the world. The world itself is impressive to me, the general design of the world, but like this just doesn't feel right compared to a lot of games I play today. And I still go back to Mario 64, like I still go back, you know, to games of that era, and they still feel fantastic. Just from looking at this game, it doesn't look like it feels good.
I know what I'm doing next time, Jones. I'm going to put the controller in your hand. Because it feels good. It feels good to be Mega Man. It feels good to jump. It feels good to blast. Just like the sound effects of these things, I think, enhance it a lot. But you just have a really good arc to your jumps. And Jones, you have a blaster, man. You're shooting. Sure. You're like shooting enemies. You're shooting robots and they explode. All I can say is, yes, it very much holds up. It is more fun to shoot a pistol in Tomb Raider. Can't knock Mario 64. It's one of the greats, and this is right up there with it.
Well, why do you think Mega Man Legends should be in the Hall of Greats above something like Mega Man 2 or Mega Man X?
Okay, yeah, this game, to me, obviously I'm going to rank it a game where I'm an adventure more than a game in which I'm shooting and killing bosses. You know, I like the idea of going to this island and you see the entire island from coast to coast, and you're saving this island and you're meeting all the people who live there. To me, that's just a lot more things to care about. And there is shooting bosses and killing. There's getting new abilities. There's Mega Man type stuff, but you care more in that it's all part of this world in which, right, like, there's matter. It's the cohesiveness. Those are both very good games, dude. And again, like, each shot of those is this cohesive world because all pixels are the same size, so the distance is the same as what you see in the forefront. I just think Legends has a lot more to offer.
Kyle, this game has a nice town in it, from what I remember.
Yeah.
What makes this town so special compared to other adventure games?
Cool. Oh, Brad, I love this. So one of their first, like, encounters with the pirates is they're attacking the town. They're attacking this town, and they can destroy buildings. And so depending on how well you do in that fight, they'll destroy more buildings or fewer buildings. And then it's up to you when you're, like, digging into dungeons and stuff like that to pay for it to come back. Because you're the only guy who's digging, you know what I mean? You're the only guy who's actually, like, finding money and finding resources. And so you get to see the city kind of constructed, and then you see it destroyed, and then it's up to you to, like, make it become a thing again. There's like, you know, I guess everybody's familiar with the serve bots, the little Lego-esque robots. you can do a side quest in which they end up with some money, in that they can start their own burger shop, and that burger shop shows up in the town, and that's just the end of that side quest, right? Like no experience points, no trophy. It's just really rewarding to see the tiny serve bots have this ambition of making their own burger place and then making it, and it's there, and you can go visit, and there are people happy to be eating there. And so yeah, it's a world, dude. It's its own town in which you can kind of believe that this is an economy in which people live in.
I think it is great how well it presents this world. Do you think, how does it give you a better understanding of it? How do you appreciate this world a lot more by the very end of the game than you do at the beginning of the game or the middle of the game? What do you feel like you learn about it, and why do you care so much?
So there's a hint at it. There's tiny hints at the beginning, Ben, that there's something more to this base island, that it has a history. And I mean, this is the stuff I really like about Mega Man Legends, is that, yeah, there's hundreds of years back history, right? Like, this is the lineage, it's the same lineage of the Mega Man games, same canon in a weird way. And so, yeah, you learn the dark history of the island, the things beneath the island, which is where you go. It's where you go to fight bosses and kill monsters and find parts to help you progress through the other parts of the game. Yeah, you learn about Mega Man's history, who he's all about, through your digging, through the things that happen beneath the island. And so there's above the island and beneath the island. The purpose of the island you learn at the very end of the game. There's lots to learn. There's lots of mysteries to be had that you get little pieces of throughout the entirety of the game.
A lot of the game does take place underground.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me?
Time.
Oh. Damn.
Oh. I think you're on the good one too.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick before we move on. All right, great. Before you choose the next one, Damiani, is the sound okay? I saw people saying there was like robot sound or something for a second.
Maybe they just wanted me to make a robot
I also
sound?
saw them say
No.
it got fixed.
Okay, cool.
It was just a brief little blip.
There should have been no sound.
Second, can we open that door, Damiani?
Did you want a robot sound?
Ooh. No, nothing should have
Third,
been playing.
Kyle, can you explain to new people what Hall of Greats is?
Oh, you're right. I guess if you're just tuning in, thank you to people who are just tuning in. We are now we have a Hall of Greats, Easy Allies, which the games that we believe are the greatest games of all time. You have to earn your way into the Hall of Greats, and so basically each of us proposes a game that we believe to be one of the greats. You get 5 minutes to make a speech, to make your case, and then you get 5 more minutes of cross-examination, in which we all try to play devil's advocate and make sure the game earns its way into the Hall of Greats. We probably make some things that we don't truly believe in, but we try to critique the game in just ways to
put it to the test.
Put it to the test. Yeah, exactly. Because we're talking about great games. All the games we're talking about are great. They all deserve to be in, but we have an order. There's an order to things, and so that's really the only way to determine an order. At the end of everybody's deliberations, all 9 of us, we will be voting. We'll be voting on which 2 games we believe belong in the Hall of Greats with our 3 votes. One worth 3 points, one worth 2 points, one worth 1 point. The top 2 will get in, and all the others have to wait until next time.
And if you go to hallofgreats.com,
yes,
it'll take you to a beautiful post maintained by a wonderful patron in our forum that will show you the previous winners, who brought them, what else was proposed that quarter, etc. hallofgreats.com.
Hallofgreats.com. You'll see everything that's in there. Pokemon Red and Blue is in there. Yeah. Okay. Damiani, you ready with this cam?
Do you want that cam instead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number
Go
1.
ahead, Kyle.
Hold it by your face, though, because it's focused on your face.
No! Brandon Jones is up next.
Brabdoin!
Hello. Good luck, Jones.
Thanks, Hubert.
Brabdoin!
Ian, thanks for making me do that.
Yeah, I just saw a few people asking, so I was like, that's a good idea.
Yeah, fair question. If anybody just tunes in and says, what is this?
What the hell is
the
going
fairest
on?
question in the world, yeah.
Welcome. All right.
I think the fan is picking up noise. Somebody said they were...
Damiani, is your mic still on?
Oh, that would be the robot noise.
Is your mic still on, Damiani?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sorry, dude.
Like maybe
Let us
like
simmer.
A stream
Yeah. I mean,
like
it sounded like the stream hiccup.
Like somebody's cell phone or something?
Hold for Ben's return.
It was for a split second during Kyle's presentation.
Phantom robot.
Okay.
Let's look up what games are in the Hall of Greats while we
Mics
wait.
are picking up couch squeaky.
Let's list them off.
Alright, I'm going to Hall of Greats. Except I can't spell. Greats. .com. Oh my god. Hollow. Here we go.
Okay. So what were the
All right.
first two games in?
First two
Jones,
ever.
do you remember? These I actually do remember, which are the first
Super
two.
Metroid? Was that one first?
Yeah, yep.
I don't remember the other one.
Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear
Oh, yeah,
Solid. Then the next
good night.
quarter, Super Mario 64 and Street Fighter 2 made it in.
Yep.
Good games.
Then it was Zelda Ocarina of Time and Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
I forgot Castlevania's in.
Oh yeah,
baby.
Oh yeah.
Then it was Chrono Trigger and Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yes. And in that one, Chrono Trigger ate all the votes, and then it was split for everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Pretty close call between Witcher 3, Mega Man X and Pokemon, and Grand Theft Auto 3.
Mega Man X needs to be brought back.
And then Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil Remake made it in last time,
right? The two Resident Evil games?
The two Resident Evils.
Yeah.
It's good. We feels good.
Not intentional. Oh yeah, that's another thing is we keep it a secret from each other coming into the stream.
Right.
We do not know what anyone else is going to
No one but Damiani knows what everyone is bringing because he has to set up the stream.
And then Damiani changes it, and we have to improv on the fly.
Yeah. Then we have to like, if we see another game up there, we're like, okay.
I don't want to do Legends, but it's Damiani's bidding.
Damiani just does it. Is that the third time you've brought Legends?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready, everybody? Where did you get that? Oh,
I'm ready.
Candy
I thought it
time.
was an iTunes.
All right. Previously, doodaloo on Hall of Greats, I proposed to this group a game that I'm very fond of, a game that I believe holds a very special place in gaming history called Grand Theft Auto 3. And one of the rebuttals, one of the things that was brought up at the time is everybody was like, GTA 3 is great, but why not bring the best? Why not bring the best Grand Theft Auto that's ever been made? So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle in for 4 minutes and 45 seconds of Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5 was released 5 years ago, in 2013. People are not only still talking about it today, people are still playing this game today, actively every day, every week, every month, because Rockstar is actively updating this game, but we'll get to that. I want to start with 3 central characters for Grand Theft Auto 5, something that was not only revolutionary for the series, but not a lot of people have done since, and certainly not in the way that Grand Theft Auto 5 did it. These are not only 3 characters that are involved in the story, 3 characters that are introduced over hours and hours of gameplay before they finally come together as a trio, but an unlikely alliance. They're constantly fighting each other. There's lots of turmoil. People are definitely picking your favorites. I hear from a lot of people that their gameplay style will vary depending on who they play. They have secret abilities. Franklin's the driver. Trevor can go on a rampage where he doesn't take so much damage. Michaels can slow things down because he is technical while using guns. But they have lots of backstory to them, so you can clearly pick your favorites. But they exist in the world. So when you switch from one character to another, not only will you see the other character doing something, and it is very, very, very difficult to play enough of the game to get to the point where you see them doing that activity yet again, but that does not mean that the character that you were playing as is erased from the world. They will still walk around. I made a point when I was playing on the 360 to find that other character, and when I ran that character over, they then sent me a text later from the hospital complaining that I had hurt them, and then they were charging me for medical bills. They charged the other character because every character has their own bank account, they have their own arsenal, they have their own custom vehicle. You can obviously buy as many vehicles as you want for each character, but they have their own vehicle that they start with. And so when things unlock in the game, you got to decide, do I want to buy them for every single character? Do I want to have a character specialize in certain things? You have skills that you also develop, running speed and accuracy and stuff like that develop depending on what you choose each character for. And so I was really impressed not only with the characters that they chose and how different those characters were, but physically how they were manifested in the game. And speaking more to the social nature of the game, I can't think of another game since 2013 that has handled social media the way this game does. You have a phone, you can text people, you can access the internet. There are dozens and dozens of websites that reference the companies and the services and the characters that you see on billboards and hear on the radio. If you're listening to the radio, you can get stock advice and then put that into play into the stock market. There's certain missions where you can tell you'll be affecting a company in a negative way, and so you can play the stock market in reverse. There are moments where
stories continue not through a cutscene, but because characters will send you texts, because they'll call you at inopportune moments. There are some missions where they know you're on a mission, a character will call you on the mission, and you will address that character like, I can't talk right now because I'm actively doing something else. And all of this is really seamless. A lot of the cutscenes are seamless, so you can be approaching an apartment or a building where you're going to trigger a cutscene when you walk in and hear characters talking as you are approaching that. And then when you walk into the room, the cutscene will begin immediately with that character talking and your character will interject and join the conversation. So much of that game is seamless in so many ways. And I think even in this gen, even though it came out in the Xbox 360 and PS3 gen, and was remastered for PS4 and Xbox One, I think is still incredibly impressive 5 years after its initial release. And the other reason why people are still playing this game 5 years later is because of a completely other mode that they added called Grand Theft Auto Online, that as long as you have a copy of the game, you can play for free. They have added 30 plus updates to this game in 5 years, all of them free. My favorites including holiday gifts, where the entire map was covered in snow for free, just for fun, for the holidays. Cunning Stunts, which added special vehicles. So this is a game that I like to return to over time. Like, this is not a game I play every week or every month, but it's a game that I love to come back to every 5 or 6 months, check out the new content that was added. There's flying DeLoreans, there's the spy car from James Bond films where you can take it underneath the water. There are missions where you can change the vehicle mid-race. There's a content creator, so you can create your own tracks, you can create your own deathmatch areas where you can assign where weapons are. There's just a ton of reasons to come back to this game.
Time.
Ooh. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Okay.
Pushing it.
Brandon Johns.
Oh.
Grand Theft Auto enthusiast. There's a lot of good Grand Theft Auto games. 3, Vice City, 4, San Andreas. Why do you think 5 holds up today better than the other ones?
I think Rockstar, to me, the bar Rockstar sets is always defined by the last game that they've released. We are months away, potentially, barring any delays, from the next game that they're going to make. It's been 5 years since they released their last game. And I just always think they push the industry forward. They clearly show that they're able to put more work into their games than a lot of other people do, because they want to get their games out, they want to make money on these things and move on to the next game. And Rockstar has so much confidence in their product and so much confidence in their audience, and that they are going to do things that people are going to be talking about. And so even though there are moments in history, personally, Grand Theft Auto 4 is my favorite story, but I think it balances out because of all of the different crazy dynamic things that you can do. Missions where you're required to play as one character as opposed to missions where you can choose the character. You know, even just a character like getting a new house, like that just feels like such a monumental moment. And I just think technically it is superior to most open world games released in half a decade, even this gen. You know, even stuff like a game like Horizon, which I dearly loved. The world itself, I was not that impressed by. Whereas I think that map is just incredible and is worth playing, even coming back to this game month after month for online.
Do you like GTA 5 more than Red Dead Redemption 2? Or Red Dead Redemption, I mean?
I think it is a technically more impressive game, but I have a softer spot in my heart for Red Dead, just because of there are not many games like that that are open. If I want to run around in a car and shoot people, there's lots of different games where I can do that. If I want to run into an open world on horseback, there's not a lot of games where I can do that.
Yeah. Brandon,
yes.
I'm not the first person to say this, but I do agree with this criticism. There are a couple of moments, mission-wise, when I think about Grand Theft Auto and going through the story, that I didn't find particularly enjoyable. There's a mission where you have to drive a tow truck around, and it's pretty slow and boring. And I believe there's another one where you're like, I think you're getting ready for a heist, and you're like moving shipping containers around. And it's, I appreciate Grand Theft Auto kind of immersing you into the world, and not everything has to be exciting or crazy all the time, but at the other end, I also don't want to be bored out of my mind.
This is true, and it is that double-edged coin, Ben. To go back to having just recently played that mission a couple months ago, to go back to this mission where you are picking up cars and bringing that to a location, you were doing that as the character of Franklin, and Franklin has to make a decision in this game whether he wants to leave his old world behind, leave these connections of these people that he grew up with, that he is being brought into organized crime, but feels that he's just better than this world. Like he has better skills than the people that he works with. And so is more inclined to work with people like Michael and Trevor. And so I think that mission, at the point that you play it in the story, is interesting. It does suggest that you can do that at a later date. It says, hey, anytime you want, you can go back and get more cars, which I think is very silly, because who would want to do that? But at the same time, I think it speaks to how mundane his life could have been. Like, this is the future that he's looking at. He's having to cover for someone. They can't even ask him to do the job himself. He's got to work through that person's sister or girlfriend who was pleading to you to do this for him so he doesn't lose his job. So it kind of speaks to, you know, how tenuous these careers are from the people that he knows, and how desperate he is to break out of this life, to stop covering for other people, to start doing things for himself, and essentially be selfish and go out there and get the money that he knows he can earn.
Johns, did you ever stop to think that maybe your opinion is skewed because this depicts your precious Los Angeles?
Actually, no, because there are a lot of places where I've lived, Kyle, that were not represented in Los Santos, and that actually bummed me out. Because a lot of people at the time were like, this is amazing, they made LA, and they very much did not. Like, all the times that they make cities is a theme park version of that city. They want to really pick those moments, your Hollywood Bowl, your Getty Center, and show them off. Isolated what they are, and then just kind of make the whole thing. You can see downtown from the beach, and you just cannot do that.
You go straight from Santa Monica to Beverly Hills.
But I think it's remarkable in that it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, open world that they've made. So size, I think, is really I really appreciate, and the fact that it is that city, but is also some of my favorite things about Los Angeles. The great outdoors, you know, heading up north into places like Joshua Tree, going hiking.
Jones.
Flying around.
GTA 5 may be my favorite Grand Theft Auto, because going back to the older ones, the controls are atrocious, especially combat.
Yes.
But GTA 5 to me still.
The setup.
Good try, dude.
Setup.
Right, good stuff. Good stuff, y'all.
All right.
Should we make a rule where somebody's allowed to finish their question?
Nope.
No.
Okay. All right.
Keep it tight.
Keep it tight.
Close up cam, Damiani.
Here we go.
Hit me.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Crossed by Kyle Bossman. Coming up, Ben Moore.
I like how every time we ooh, even though it's like a finite number of possibilities, it's like not really surprising that it's one of us.
I think we're just excited.
Yeah, we're excited.
It's time for Ben's pick.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. Let me know.
Dude, if it's Suikoden 2, I will be conflicted.
There I am. Whenever I'm ready?
Yeah, remember the camera's over.
That guy.
Okay, I'm probably not going to look at it.
It's up there until you reveal the game, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
So just very quick setup on this, starting right now. I've never been more nervous to present for a Hall of Greats because I've never wanted a game to be in so badly. This is a game for years and years and years. Even amongst my coworkers, Elise Willems and Kyle Bossman, they would tell me how great it was. But based on my experience with other games in the series, I knew that I would probably enjoy it, but not be completely smitten with it. And I absolutely believe to the absolute core of my being that this game deserves to be up there with every other game we've put in the Hall of Greats. And that is Paper Mario and the 1,000 Year Door.
Oh, yeah! Okay.
Paper Mario and the 1,000 Year Door does something and gave me a feeling that I went back and I thought, man, like, I just don't expect enough out of games, and this 1,000 Year Door is showing that to me. And what I mean by that is when you play a lengthy RPG, there are certain things that you want. You want characters that you can get attached to. You want a world that is interesting to explore and has secrets to uncover and has reasons for coming back to places. You want battles that don't get stale over 10, 20, 30, 40 hours. Paper Mario and the 1,000 Year Door nails all of that, does it perfectly. And then it goes, but wait, there's more. This is a game that surprises you. It seems like it is so intent on surprising you in every single moment, and it turns things that would be just normal interactions in other games into little beautiful gems. And what I want to start talking about is I want to talk about Rogueport. And Rogueport is the central hub of the game. And every time you go out and you chase after one of the stars that you need to open the 1,000-year door, you go off and then you come back to Rogueport. And Rogueport is a place that is immediately fascinating. It's this seedy location where there are weird characters, there's gambling, there's a mafia, and it's kind of fun taking Mario characters and putting them in that setting. But more important than that, every time you come back, there's something new to do. Based on the abilities that you get, that place changes. And it feels like it evolves at the same rate that you evolve as a player. And when you think about party members, right? Party members that you're bringing into an RPG battle, it's cool if they have unique abilities, and these characters certainly do. But these characters also help you explore the world. You get a newborn Yoshi that you can ride on to make you go faster and will allow you to hover over gaps. You get a bomb that will allow you to blow open places and access areas that you could never get before. You get Madame Flurry, who is taking advantage of the paper aspect of Paper Mario and can blow open new areas for you to uncover. On top of one of the most engaging and enjoyable and simply playful battle systems that I've ever seen. And it's been done in other Mario RPGs, but they get Paper Mario 1,000-Year Door specifically introduces so much. So battles take place on a stage, and it's very interactive. So you're dealing with your enemies, and you have to, the attacks that you're doing, you have to time them. You have to make sure you hit the button presses correctly in order to do the most damage or to defend yourself to reduce as much damage as possible. But there's an audience. Sometimes this audience is throwing mushrooms that you want. Other times they're throwing rocks in your face. And there were times, and you can see this on my stream, where I just get so excited that I go and I leave the stage and I bonk somebody in the audience thinking they're going to throw a rock at me, but it was a mushroom. And so you have to be on your toes. You're paying attention to two things at once. And the stage can come crashing down depending on the battle. And so you have to defend against that. And the timing, like I said, you learned about it, you know about it in other Mario RPGs, but there's a stylish system in Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door that I love. We talk about mastery of a thing. In Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door, you can nail the timing on something, and the game will tell you, it'll like have UI specifically on how to instruct you to do it. But if you're like, wait, what if I just press A when this character lands? You'll get stylish, which will give you more star power, which will let you use some of your strongest abilities. And everything in this game, every single thing, is not taken at face value. Like, for example, one of your star power moves is a big heal, but rather than just your characters getting a bunch of health back, you're throwing stuff at targets and avoiding bad things so you can get as much healing as possible. It's a very interactive thing. It's rethinking basic stuff. There's so much more to say.
Jam-packed.
I got to maybe 30% of what I wanted to talk about.
Jones, one more time.
What? Do it again.
Jam-packed.
Jam.
Oh, packed.
What's happening?
What is this bit? We have a podcast thing.
That's true. That we've done once.
One more time, I got your back.
Jam.
Jam.
Packed.
Packed.
I cut the podcast.
Did it work that time?
Switched the podcast.
Yes.
All right, Ben.
When did this happen?
You said you played a lot of the Super Mario RPG or the RPGs before the Mario ones.
Yeah.
What makes, as someone who's not extremely experienced with these ones, what makes this particular one so much better than your color splash or your sticker star?
Or even the original or Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, I think there are a lot. There's a lot that makes it, I think, particularly stand out. But for me, it is, and if you watch the streams, you'll see this, where I would be talking to a character and I was like, they made that just as funny as possible. They took this like basic information, like in a sense, you're just going on a grand quest, right? And you're trying to rescue Princess Peach. It is stuff that you expect, but they never just tell you something in a way that is super straightforward. I feel like they're like, how can we make this funnier? How can we make you laugh? How can we make you smile in every little scene? And other Mario RPGs do that. I think Super Mario RPG does that. I think the Mario and Luigi games do that. But what sells and makes Thousand Year Door sing for me is you have that cuteness, you have that charm, you have that wit. I think wit is really the best word here. But underneath that, you have real characters with full stories. They're not just that cuteness. You have tragedy there that you can explore. Like Vivian, I think one of the best characters. She is somebody that is abused by her sisters, right? Like she's an amazing character that's adorable, that's kind of shy, but there's really this pain there that you get to explore. And so I think by kind of fusing those two things, having real characters with substantial stories and the humor and the wit is what really sells it for me.
I like a lot of drama in my RPGs, Ben. That's kind of like the thing that gets me to the end of this. Is like I triumphantly want to face the forces of evil and to destroy my enemies and to gain power, to feel power in this group. And I think that's one of the things that has maybe kept me away from the Mario RPGs. Is it seems like a jolly good time, and that seems like something that would be fun and funny and witty. But I might not necessarily. You make just a good case for an interesting character, but I might not be as emotionally invested in this world to play this for a 30, 40, 50 hour span.
I think you will be way more emotionally invested than you think you will, and I was in the same spot. Before I played it, I was like, I think this will be a fun, good time, but I'm not going to bring it to Hall of Greats. The reason I'm bringing it into Hall of Greats is because of what it made me feel. And another storyline that I want to just quickly touch on to maybe throw this at you is there are intermissions. So there are other storylines going on in addition to Mario's main quest. And so you're checking in with Bowser and how he's kind of following in Mario's footsteps and his misadventures. But what I think is actually even more interesting is Princess Peach has been captured by the X-Nauts and is in this moon base, and she's dealing with this AI called TEC. And you check in with them at every chapter, and they develop a relationship that I think in the general realm of sci-fi is not all that wild, but with what they were playing with in the Mario universe, I was very surprised at. There is a point where that AI says, I love you to Princess Peach. And also accepts that she wants Mario. Like, is okay with it. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Ben, I have to ask this because I absolutely love this game too.
Yeah.
But the most common criticism I've ever seen when trying to find what people don't like about this game is the backtracking. This game is usually referred to as having some of the worst backtracking in any game. I was wondering if you felt that was a valid criticism or you don't think that's true.
I will say this. You go into the sewers for the Thousand Year Door, and it at least to me, I get easily confused in navigating games anyway, and it was a little confusing to me. But I think what saves it for me, and while I would never say it has some of the worst backtracking, I don't know if I believe that, is because you get to have so many of those moments. And I really feel like there are a lot of them where you may come back to this place for the third, fourth, fifth time, but there's something new you can do here because of what you got when you left. And you brought it back. And so I think that makes it interesting. And there are even like shortcuts that you can open up to make things like a little bit better in that regard. So no, I don't think it's on. It's on Nintendo GameCube. It is only on the GameCube.
What's Luigi doing?
Luigi is incorporated into the game beautifully. So Luigi is in Rogueport, and
time.
Oh no!
That was a softball.
It was juicy. Yeah, that was a softball.
Nice job, Ben.
Pull a card. Ben, pull a card.
Luigi is in Rogueport.
Can you open the door, please?
See.
Prop it with the thing.
Dot.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Stay open. Alright, close up. Oh, you're gonna do it right here.
Bradley Ellis.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, Damiani.
You were sick.
Song first, then video.
Oh, song first. Okay.
No,
Then
play the
video.
song and have the video over it.
Oh yeah, I got that too.
Great.
Good luck, man.
So let me know
Alright, you
when
can
you're
start.
ready.
Alright, everybody. It's summertime. Feeling a little warm, a little tropical, you'd say. But there's a nice, cool little breeze coming in too. Oh man, maybe a little freeze. Damiani, hit the music.
Oh man.
Then bring the video, baby.
How do we vote?
And, all right, here we go.
Brad just made it impossible.
Pushing live.
Yeah, this
there
is
we go.
one of the tensest.
Does that just feel nice? Alright guys, we're talking about Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, baby!
Oh, that's a good edit.
So there's been a lot of Donkey Kong Country games throughout the game life cycle. I'm gonna tell you what makes Tropical Freeze special in its own little way. And I'm gonna say, it's from the level design. Unlike most previous Donkey Kong games, for example, the Donkey Kong Country 1 with the red and light mechanic, there's usually one thing per level. Not in this game, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze has about 3 often in levels. For example, in Horn Top Hop, there are giant horns that could shoot out enemies, items, and stuff like that, push into hazard spikes, or let DK ride high into the air. But there's also leaves that are part of the level where you swing down your platform on, there's enemies on that. The levels combine these elements in a nice, beautiful pacing way. These levels aren't like necessarily short with one checkpoint like you might get in your Mario game. There's usually like 3 of these levels. So it eases you in real nice and slow and never feels like it throws an obstacle you're not prepared to handle. The game offers 5 playable characters unlike the previous ones. You got your Dixie, you got your Diddy, you got your Cranky, and you got your Donkey, and you got Funky Kong! It was added a Switch version if you're feeling a little babyish and you want to just cruise through, that's cool, no worries about that. Kyle, what's the thing you love in video games, dude?
Context.
This game's got it.
Okay,
For example,
yellow card.
Fruity Factory. There are watermelons and conveyor belts that are chopped up by giant cleavers, drills that tear apart grapefruits, saw blades that split out platforms for Donkey Kong to use. In the later levels, this carries over as you see the fruit that was once chopped up turn into jello and other popsicle-like substances. So each world has a theme that carries over throughout each and every level. Look at this. So you got your traditional minecart levels from the previous Donkey Kongs, and this game adds a little more by adding a giant saw blade that's chasing you, and you're riding high while you're doing it. Hubert, I know you love unlockable levels, my friend.
I do.
What's one level that's unlocked in this game?
Bobopolis.
Bobopolis! So there are Kongs throughout this game like the previous ones. There's also puzzle pieces. If you collect all these items, you can unlock additional levels like Bobopolis that are insanely challenging. If you thought this game was easy, you play these levels, it gives you a nice little challenge, but you gotta earn it, man. Donkey Kong game, Tropical Freeze, it's just a feel-good time. You're gonna have a blast for your platforms. I'd say it's a must-play for platforms. Nay, one of the best platformer games of all time. Dami, why don't you skip ahead and just show everyone what the score you gave this game. Oh, wait, what's that? A 9.5? A 9.5? Wow! Dare say that's a great score. I'm done.
Wow.
Score seemed a little low in my eyes.
Yeah. Me too. He got scared.
Brad, why did Damiani pump the brakes?
Because Damiani's afraid to give a game a 10. That's why.
Shots. Shots fired.
I feel uncomfortable. I gotta be honest.
Okay,
you know,
let's hear it.
it's like we got the opinions already stated outside of Hall of Greats by Michael Damiani. We got call-outs to community members here with Michael Huber and Kyle Bossman actively promoting their enthusiasm during his session. There's also the precedent for how much Tropical Freeze has been streamed and played here on twitch.tv/EasyAllies.
Damn good game.
I'm just not sure if it's a fair pick. I gotta be honest, now that it's on Switch, I feel like I've seen it played so many times, I don't need to play it myself.
Watching and playing are completely different things, Jones. You need to play this game, not watch it. You think you got the whole story. You don't, dude. You don't got it all.
Okay. What is there to say?
Okay, so do you? What is your opinion? Not stating my opinion, just want to know your opinion on the rocket levels.
The rocket levels?
You have to where they're linear and you just have to basically change your height with button presses. Do you think those are a good addition? I mean, they were in return.
So yes, they take a classic form, but I think they improve upon it by adding more various things throughout the level, like I explained earlier with the minecart. They had like a few saw blades coming around, going up and down. Not necessarily just you're dodging like spike balls in there. They just add a couple of tricks. They're taking the classic thing you know, Ben, but just adding a few little tricks to it.
Brad, you know I love co-op games.
You do.
Specifically with you.
Hell yeah.
But I would argue that Tropical Freeze, while it has co-op, it feels... It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel as good as playing this game single player. Do you hold it against the game?
I think that's a question about who you're playing with, and mostly Huber. For me, it's been great every time I played it with someone. You're working on the teamwork. It's like a whole different experience. You're these two Kongs, man. You're communicating how to get through this level together. You can each kind of try to jump around like that, or you can team up and put someone on DK's back or something like that. It gives you the flexibility to be the Kong you want to be.
That's true, though. I did play this co-op, and I was like, it's just better to play it by yourself.
Who's the ponytail?
Dixie.
Dixie.
Yeah.
Clearly the best.
Who's the ponytail?
From what I could see, Dixie's clearly the best.
Clearly the
and
best.
so I'm gonna have to ask what the balance is between these characters. Like,
sure. Dixie, of course, classic. Been from 2.
Right.
Really good. I would say Diddy is the weakest, but not. If you get Diddy, it's not over. You're fine. You can still work with it. He's got a little jetpack and glide, not as good as Dixie's. There's also Cranky Kong, baby, who changes the whole way you play this game. You got the Pogo Stick Jones, just like Scrooge McDuck from DuckTales Jones.
It's true.
It's a blast. They all have their own unique properties, and they're all fun to play. And like I said, Funky Kong in Newest Edition, man, you can't tell me jumping over a gap doing a pop shove is not awesome.
Do you think that the temptation to use Funky Kong in the new version detracts from the game on the whole?
No, you play how you want to play, all right? I'm not going to tell you to play your game. I wouldn't do it. I'm saying if you want to do it, if you want to have fun, if you're stuck at this level, you can go ahead and do it.
For those lesser than me, it is a great option.
Brad, I forget what you get for 100%ing this game, but I remember it being not as cool as the Returns, where you got a whole bonus level, and then you got the mirror, and then you played through everything in the like mirror version. I don't even remember what you get for 100%ing this one.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay.
Oh, you got me. I don't remember.
Shots.
That's going to cost it a vote or two.
Yeah, it might cost 1 vote.
Do you ever think the challenge is unfair?
No.
But what about for like a normal human being? Who's not you?
No, the game gives you tools to deal with every single situation you're in.
Screaming kids out there. It
Yes,
doesn't matter.
The game always gives you tools to deal with each situation, Damiani. Do you have like a specific example?
So, I don't think it's unfair.
Okay.
But I've had people who think the game is just too hard. And
I am also good.
Yeah, so...
You got Funky Kong. If it's too hard, you can play Funky Kong.
Yeah.
The gods speak.
Fellow God, what about the others?
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you a technical question.
Okay.
Ask him,
1080p.
No, they're like, ooh, it's what, dude? So it only runs at 720p in undocked mode on Switch version.
So
How
it's
do you
fine.
feel about that?
Looks fine.
Look, you. Then why does it run at 1080?
Time.
Who's next?
Who's next, baby?
Brad to the card.
Oh yeah. Well,
We have no idea who it could be.
Who is it? It's Michael Huber.
Oh!
You're like last every
Last
single
one.
time, aren't you?
like
Yeah.
Wait, is that true?
I think he's been last before,
Multiple
like, for sure.
times.
That's right. Saving the
Yeah,
best.
I just remember Streets of Rage 2, like, out the gate. That's all.
I'm either last or first.
Yeah, you're always either last or first.
Most kills, most deaths.
All right. The game I brought to me defines a lifestyle. It defines a generation, and it is arguably the best at what it is, and that is Time Crisis 2.
Whoa!
Wow! Time Crisis 2 is a legendary light gun game and a legendary arcade game. Just take yourself back to the 90s, walking into an arcade and hearing the clack, 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 clack of that Time Crisis cabinet. Those iconic cabinets.
You know I love co-op games. The bond shared at this cabinet with friends, with family, with complete strangers was a thing to behold during this era. As, you know, I can already hear the questions of like, well, arcades are dead, you know, this is Hall of Greats, this is current. That is only added to the mystique of this game. Finding a working Time Crisis 2 cabinet complete with the authentic kickback pistol is a absolute treasure. Finding one of those machines. They still exist. They're still out there. You can find them. Arcades are making a comeback, a resurgence. This series is still going strong, but it's Time Crisis 2 that is the absolute pinnacle. And that's because of presentation, pacing, and set pieces. The going from the city with all of the enemies coming in and shooting the interactive environments. I thought that was such a cool thing for this series to do. And the bosses, too. The bosses are so clever, just using the kickstand, you know, feeling like you were there. This was VR before VR. Action! Action! Hearing that iconic narrator screaming action is just, it is a powerful feeling. Again, the bosses, having to work with your friend, covering each other's backs, because there are certain enemies, like the enemy variety is on point. You know, sometimes like in the forest level, there's like ninjas that come down with the knives. You can actually see what your friend is doing like from your perspective. You can see your friend pinned down, and if enemies are shooting, you can cover their back. It is just... It defines a generation, and it is arguably the greatest arcade video game ever released. Draft your tweets. Time Crisis 2. That's all I gotta say. Draft your tweets.
Do you see the remaining 2 minutes, Hubert?
Yep. That's all I got.
Okay.
That's all I got. Time Crisis 2. Bring on the questions.
Hubert.
Yes.
Is that game longer than the argument you just made?
It is. And it encourages replay value. I'm speaking personally. Every time I see a Time Crisis 2 cabinet, I am compelled to do a full playthrough. This is, you know, trying to do no-hit runs. It is a game about time. It is a game about getting better. You know, trying to, like, those leaderboards were a real thing in the arcades. You know, when we didn't have online communities, when online communities weren't a thing, you know, people would gather to these cabinets, post leaderboards, and that is a powerful thing in the legacy that is video games.
Here's the hard thing for me, Huber.
Yeah.
The game's designed for you to fail, so you give it more money.
I can beat the game without getting hit once.
You can do that right now.
Yes.
How many times does it take to get to that?
I mean, I played it a lot as a kid, but, like, no-hit runs is a real thing. And I used to do no-hit runs. But
what about for normal people, not gods such as yourself?
I mean, like, the game does have prompts where it's like, yo, a red bullet will come, that's more dangerous. Or, like, bosses, obviously, like the minigun guy on the truck, or the train, I mean. Enemies close up. I mean, arcade games, sure, by nature, are... you know, designed differently maybe than home console games, but I really don't hold it against it, and I think it is a game of skill, and I appreciate that. Time Crisis to me never feels cheap, if that's where you're going at.
Will you do an easy update where we just film you playing this game?
At an actual arcade.
100%.
At an arcade.
100%.
Sweet.
Huber,
sign me up.
At the beginning of your argument, you mentioned how special it was to play with another person.
Yes.
Why do you think it's so essential? Like, what does that add to the game in a mechanical sense?
So, if I had to criticize my own game that I brought, I would say playing solo is not nearly as fun because the AI then just controls the second player, which I don't appreciate. But I can just remember there was an arcade by our house called Boomers, Palace Park, and I can remember seeing people at the cabinet playing by themselves, and the act of going up and joining their game and like having that nod and communication of like, yo, I've got your back,
you know, I think it's so important because games are getting more and more solitary in nature as we go forward. Like even online games, you're playing, you know, in the comfort of your own home. And I think that social element is definitely a part of the legacy that I love and respect.
Whoa. What makes this one the best? The best light gun shooter?
Just the set pieces, the pacing. It's an action game, and it has those moments. It has the awesome city. It has the forest. I love the variety in terms of setting. There's really cool moving parts where you're on a boat and other boats are coming. The train is such a legendary part where you're moving through the train and going on the top and going in the windows. There's like a helicopter that always comes by. The boss is at like the front of the train. You got to actually progress to there.
So it's for sure better than House of the Dead.
Yeah.
Or the Aliens one.
I would put it above House of the Dead because of the novelty of the gun. Straight up. House of the Dead, going back to it, just shooting, it feels like nothing. It feels like air. Like you're just, there's no connection.
And sometimes you reload with a pedal, right?
You reload when you come down and come up, and the gun has the click noise that is legendary.
I hear you.
Does it have an offhand grenade button, though, like the Aliens one?
No, but there
That's
are
sweet.
special weapons, like the machine gun, where you have unlimited ammo, and then the gun's like...
That's why they break all the time.
Yeah, exactly. The machine gun breaks it.
Speaking of breaking, how is that feeling when you come across a cabinet that has a busted gun? How angry does that
It's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. We need to curate arcades more and cabinets. Long live arcades. Because there are a lot of knockoff guns for Time Crisis 2, and that is not what I'm bringing today. I'm bringing the authentic, gun con with the kickback.
Huber, I think this game is cheesy and not intentionally, and I wish it was. I wish it either leaned into the comedy or did something, you know, tried. I don't know. I don't know if I expect a game like this to tell a story, but even at the time when this game first came out, I was like, this is ridiculous.
Brutal out! The harshest criticism came out right at the end.
Wow. Here, this game is cheesy trash, and that's the time.
That's how you do it.
Yeah. All right, that's all the pitches.
We're gonna get to a point where we're like also timing it.
Yeah.
There's like 5 seconds left. Just like, I didn't like this one level. Got it in. Got it in.
Drive-by arguments.
Woo! This game took all my money.
Yeah.
Wow, some contenders, ladies and gentlemen.
Machine gun divorce.
Hogs.
So
Huber, what are we doing now?
Now, we're going down one by one ally at a time. The other allies will be in seclusion outside. We are voting in secret. We are voting in secret. You, allies, watching, will be able to see what we vote for, but we're doing it one at a time.
Thank you.
We are having the confessional cam. You will see what we are voting for. And if each of us wants to, we can give a little context to why we are voting. We are voting for. Yes,
that's necessary, actually.
And you cannot vote for the game you brought, and you can vote for 3 games. One of the games gets 3 chips or werehogs. Sorry, one of the game gets 3 werehogs, then 2 werehogs, and then 1 werehog.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, turn chat off down there on 2 over here.
Top 2 games get in.
Yeah, top 2 games get in. We're gonna turn you off, chat, because you have a powerful influence over me personally, but over us. And we gotta turn you off while we do this because we don't want to be swayed by your hype or dishype for a game. So, but then we'll come right back with you. We'll turn you back on. Don't worry.
We're going in New York, so Daniel Bloodworth is first, right?
So, is that how it works?
Yeah.
We can't go backwards?
Am I good, Ian?
Do you stay in here? Or?
Yeah, well, I'm going to play a promo video for us. Because we're in the...
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I'm going to mute us for a second,
We got
chat.
a quick promo for you.
Yeah,
Enjoy.
we have a promo video for you for a film coming out pretty soon called Fireworks. It is from G-Kids is handling it. It is from the producer of Your Name, so you might have heard of that. this trailer do a way better job than I will of describing it. So check this out, and we will be right back.
じゃあ私が勝ったら何でも言うこと聞いて。よーいスタート。安住くん、今日の花火大会行くの？へえ、引っ越すんだ。再婚するんだお母さん。
もし俺が。
島田くんが勝つと思ってた。出すな！やめてよ！
あの時。もし俺が勝っていれば。
俺が！
もし。
のりみちくん、今日の花火大会行くの？
え？
はっと息を塗れば消えちゃいそうな光がきっと家出してきたの。一緒に来てくれる？
冗談だろ。あ、追いかけてきた。今日何回も繰り返してるんだよ。もし。のりみちくん、助けて。もし。
じゃあこれはのりみちくんが作った。
そんな世界あるわけねえだろ。もしあの時。もしもお前がいなくなるとしても今日だけは一緒にいたい。もしも俺がもう一回元の世界に戻してくれって球を投げたらどうなっちゃうのかな。
Spike's back, and there we go.
All right. Just 1 second. We're finishing up on a couple of things. Let's put this over here.
Considering everything.
Just so that we can see himself, you know?
Yeah.
Alright, Damiani is finishing his list.
And the last was the legacy.
And then we will clear the room for Bloodworth to make his deliberations in private.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Alright, let's go, Damiani.
And all chat's hidden and everything?
Don't forget don't forget your werehogs there. Alright. Good luck, Bloodworth.
Hello, chat. How we doing? Yeah, so this is an interesting Hall of Greats. There are a lot of games here that I actually haven't played. Obviously, very familiar with all of them. I think for my single chip, I'm going to go with Silent Hill 2, which I would agree is one of the defining psychological horror games that's out there. Just a ton of crazy atmosphere. I love one thing he didn't bring up. I love the map in that game, yeah, very, very, very creepy. Very good music, and worthwhile of the name. One of the greats. I'm gonna go with Metroid Prime for my 2 werehogs. And yeah, that one, to me, that's just that's probably the most obvious out of any of these. It's like that, really, I think that at some point in time, one of us is going to get that in there, even if it doesn't happen tonight. Very transformative game, very extremely well done map. I put it there almost beside Super Metroid, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And then for my number 3, for my 3 chips, I'm going to go with Paper Mario. And I have not played this game. I have it. I own it. I actually have played maybe a couple of hours at the beginning, but not really. But out of all of these games, out of the many games that are here that I have not played all the way through, with Ben, Ben makes me want to play that more than any. Like, I don't. A lot of these others are like, I can pass. I don't need that or whatever. I am curious about Mega Man Legends. One of these days I need to play Mega Man Legends as well. But Paper Mario, really, really, that presentation got me wanting to play that game. All right, next up.
I have to look. Okay.
Never doubt the Book of Blood. Oh man, more ice. Alright, I have to look at all the nominees and stuff. Blood took forever, man. Alright. So who was I picking? Alright. So 3 of my chips are going to Silent Hill 2, baby. Ian's impassioned speech about the emotional connections, just the emotions you feel in that game was really, really, really good. I think Ian sold his game probably the best by combining both the merits of the game and the emotional impact it had on him. Or sorry, on Ian. Very good. Next. This is tough. I'm torn between Paper Mario, Time Crisis, and Donkey Kong Chat. This is bad. But I think I'm definitely going to give my 2 chips to Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door. Because that is a great game that you should play, and everyone should play it. Ben made a great case for it. And I think it's a harder game to articulate why it's so great, because when you just look at the game, you just think like this is some stinky Mario spin-off game, RPG. Why is it not Super Mario RPG? Like, that's been the stigma. So I think that was a good argument from Ben. Good rebuttals of the criticisms against it. Sadly didn't get that. It's about General White, the worst part of the game. Here it is, the last one. Does it go to Time Crisis 2? Or does it go to Donkey Kong? Man, Huber made a very impassioned speech about it. I think, though, he put more substance into why the game's actually good rather than why he felt good about it in the cross-examination. Dude, Donkey Kong, man. I just don't feel good voting for something I was being used as the source for Donkey Kong. So I'm going with, where are you, Time Crisis? Where the hell's Kyle put in the spot where it's like the hardest to find. I didn't know he's doing shady deals. Time Crisis 2. Sorry for hitting the mic. Very good stuff. So again, Silent Hill 2, Ian did a fabulous job. Ben did a fabulous job with Paper Mario. And Huber's hype and passion, plus me not wanting to be biased with Donkey Kong. And there you go. Thanks.
Hey everybody. Alright, first of all, I want to apologize. I botched my presentation tonight. SimCity 4 deserved better. I thought it'd be the night I'd bring it full circle after waiting a year. And I had a bold idea to do a live demonstration of the data I wanted to show off. I botched it. I take full responsibility, and I apologize to all of you out there, and SimCity 4 deserved better. Nevertheless, we have to move past that and vote for some winners. I promised myself this week I would take into consideration the arguments more, and especially if it's a game I didn't actually have my own personal experience and nostalgia for, I'd really try to take the individual arguments into more consideration, of add more value for that. And sure enough, this week when I decided to do that, everyone, with the exception of myself, came out with strong, really wonderful arguments. So this is literally the most difficult decision, I think, of all the Hall of the Greats I've been faced with so far, for a multitude of reasons, as you'll find out shortly. However, here we go. I have to vote. Okay. My 3 votes, my vote for 3 has to go to... Oh, God, this is so bloody difficult. It's not even funny. There's no way to choose some of these over others. Ben Moore's argument was so convincing, and it made me... That's one of the Paper Marios I haven't played, believe it or not, and it convinced me so thoroughly. I have to give him 2 points. I give my 2 points to Paper Mario. 1,000 years ago. Okay. Like I said, there's no way. Huber, I mean, Ian, everyone had amazing arguments. I'm gonna give my 3 points, my #1 vote for Metroid Prime. I also thought Damiani covered so much of what made that game so great. So my 3 goes to that. And the most bitter, I don't know, the toughest part about all of this, I'll just read a statement. My 1 point: in compliance with and under the obligations set forth by the ratified Haag-Bossman Accord, my 1 vote goes to a Mega Man Legends. So, anyway, enjoy the winners. Thanks for watching.
Oh gosh. Okay. Hi everyone, who I can't see talking at all. Okay. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do until I walked in here right now. I know for sure not GTA 5, just because it's not for me. I have no experience with Dragon Quest, though I thought his presentation was good. Huber's Time Crisis presentation was phenomenal, as was Ben's Paper Mario presentation. I have literally no experience with Paper Mario, but it seems amazing. I super want to play it. You can't vote for your own, obviously. Alright, well I know for sure my 3. I almost had the correct distribution of colors just by chance. These 2 don't match. But I have 3 black ones. I know for sure my 3 gotta be Metroid Prime. Sounds like I'm not alone. Alright, then let's go 2 to Donkey Kong. Sounds a little light. Oh man. Part of me wants to give 1 to SimCity 4 just because I don't want to see Don crushed again on SimCity 4. Oh, but the presentation was a little flustered. It was great, it was amazing, but oh man. Ben is just such a good speaker. Paper Mario. This is literally one of the hardest Halls of the Greats ever. Oh, Time Crisis. Should I do Time Crisis, SimCity, or Paper Mario? Alright. Paper Mario and Time Crisis, they have my spirit vote. I think that Paper Mario has a really good chance. Anyway, I'm going to give it to Don. Sounds like I'm the only one. There you go, Don. Alright.
Hi, everybody. So I got to be honest with you. Normally, I'm ready to go. Normally, I have my things decided. Tonight, not so. Can't vote for Mega Man Legends because I brought that. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door is in fact one of my favorite video games of all time, and tonight I think it outranks Tropical Freeze. Metroid Prime, I truly believe is one of the greats. GTA 5 is super up there. Silent Hill 2, I can recognize as good, but it's creepy. You know, I'm not going to vote for a scary game. Obviously, there's no suspense here. Vote number 1 goes to SimCity 4. But my 2 votes, and Time Crisis was a very good speech, but we're talking about Metroid Prime here. Okay, so yeah, that's how it works. Okay, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, if you haven't played it, give this a chance. It is truly unique. I know it seems lame to be talking about like Paper Mario. It's a legitimately great RPG in the way that it presents its world and vibes, and you feel happy to be there, and it's constantly surprising in its story, in its environments, in its RPG mechanics, you know. And then yeah, so we'll go 3 on Metroid Prime. One of the greats, and like I think you have to account for history when you're doing when you're voting for the greats, and so it's just fundamentally a great game, right? Like it's just they figured out how to do 3D platforming, and somehow it's a first-person shooter that doesn't rely on a right analog stick because of the way the lock-on works. But also like if you just think of its legacy, the chance that this game would be good was 0, and just they knocked it out of the park on their first attempt. And just I think like the unlikeliness of it happening adds to how legendary that game is. One of the great. Okay, thanks everybody.
Next up. Next please.
That's me. That's after me.
Oh, no.
Woo! This is a rough one. I mean, they're all rough. You know what I mean? It's never an easy road. Okay, let's go really quickly through the stuff that I'm not voting for. I got a controversial pick with what I'm going to vote for, but hear me out. Just because I want to respect the process, and I'm incredibly proud of one of the allies for really putting it on the line tonight. And because I am kind of mixed, and I'll tell you what. And I'm ashamed to admit it, I haven't played a lot of these games. And so actually my first 2 votes are going to go to 2 video games I have not played. I have played Silent Hill 2. I think Silent Hill 2 is better than a lot of video games, but I'm not going to be voting for it today. I actually never finished Silent Hill 1 or 2. I never played 3. I think I played 4, but for something at GT. But just kind of a slow-paced game. I would always kind of get... Like, bored is a really strong negative word, but I would always get just kind of tired of just, like, running around. They animate really slowly, and once I checked every door for, like, the 5th time, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not necessarily, like, have an impulse to get through it. Dragon Quest VIII looks absolutely charming and wonderful. I just have very little purchase on it because there's not a lot I know about it. Time Crisis 2 is a lot of fun, Huber, but I don't know if I would necessarily call it one of the greats or better than these other games. And almost because I want to see how far Kyle is going to take his crusade of getting Mega Man Legends into the Hall of Greats, I will not be voting it for this time. But here are 2 games that I've never played that I greatly respect. I gotta vote Metroid Prime. I think just from the outside looking in for my 1 bet, for my 3 bet, my 3-point bet. Just from the outside looking in, I think it was not only an absolutely incredible game, not only one of the best games in that series, but God, I just love an underdog. I mean, just so many people doubted that game, and it still came out on top, and I really respect that. And it's just been something that I have no excuse for not playing it. I should have played it, and I have not, and that's on me. For number 2, because I think they made an excellent case. And because I think the person that was pitching that really put their heart and soul into the pitch, and we've heard a lot about, at game trailers and Easy Allies over the years about Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, but I think Ben did a really good job of selling it. And I think in that moment of him describing that game, I think I had never wanted to play that game more than in that moment. And sorry, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, I'm giving my last werehog to SimCity 4. Let's see if it hits any other, just clanks right at the bottom. Oh, there might still be something in there. Don played a game on Hall of Greats. First time anyone's ever done that. I have a lot of respect for that. I gotta give it up to Don.
Right, man.
right, so this is extremely difficult. I'm still not confident in what my votes are going to, but for me it's between argument and how much the game deserves it. And I actually think Damiani had a really great, succinct, clear argument for Metroid Prime, and he's right, and it was really hard to think of things against it. So Metroid Prime is going to get 3 from me. I also think Ian had a great argument for Silent Hill 2, and he also had a very emotional argument for Silent Hill 2, which mirrors my experience with it. I was devastated after I finished Silent Hill 2. It is a game that I still think about, and it is a game where I wish other game stories could be as powerful as that was for me at the time that I played it. So my 2 go to Silent Hill 2. And last, Dragon Quest VIII. I think Blood had a confident argument. He had a clear argument, and that game has vibes through the roof and does so much so well. And I think he handled the cross-examination pretty well. So my last vote goes to Dragon Quest VIII.
Hey, chat. Howdy. Alright, do this light. What is the deal? Okay. Thinking about this a lot. It's gonna be a tough one. First chip. I'm giving it to Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Ben made an incredibly convincing argument for me of why this game deserves so much respect and why it's great. And I trust Ben with my life. Number 2. 2 points for Metroid Prime. 2 points. I was one of those people when it was announced, thought Metroid in 3D first person would be really stupid, but it worked. I was blown away. And 3. 3 for Dragon Quest VIII, baby. Hell yeah. Probably my favorite PS2 game of all time. Love this game. Feels like Disneyland every time I play it. Pure magic. That's it. I'm done. I'm gonna go grab Hubert.
Wait, I don't have any, I don't have any dice, guys. I don't have any chips. Hold on a sec, chat. Oh, here they are. Here we go. Can't play poker without any chips. Alright, I apologize. Causing problems. Okay, so my first vote, without a doubt, is going for what I truly believe, like Bloodworth was saying, the quintessential culmination of Japanese role-playing games, Dragon Quest VIII, is getting 3 of my chips. Alright, next on the list, holy moly. This is brutal. Alright, next up is gonna be one of the definitive horror masterpieces, Silent Hill 2. It is an extremely important game for the genre, and it still resonates. Its story still resonates today. You could play that game for the first time and still be impacted, and that's what this is all about for me, Hall of Greats. It's not only its legacy, but does it hold up today? And Silent Hill 2's story absolutely does. Jeez. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tropical Freeze. The pander was strong. I'm gonna have to give my final chip to GTA 5 because despite GTA 5 is a bold statement. You know I love bold statements, allies. Despite being one of the highest selling games of all time, in my heart, I truly believe GTA 5 is underrated. So I'm giving it that final chip. You know, it's been going on for a long time. I understand there's fatigue about it, but if I really remove myself from the equation, if I take a long, hard look, because 3 is amazing. I love GTA 3's setting. I love Vice City, obviously, but there's a lot of jank. There's a lot of jank there. You know, Brandon Jones didn't even bring up mods for GTA 5, and I think that's so important. But then I think of Paper Mario. I think of Metroid Prime. I think of Tropical Freeze, dudes. I don't know.
Alright, let's go. Damiani, switch to camera 2.
I will. All right, and don't bring up chat because they know.
They know.
Chat knows.
We cannot see them.
Chat knows.
Chat knows everything.
What do you know, chat?
Oh no, is this gonna break into?
Hey, who's the ponytail?
Best line of the night.
This reminds me of like Home Alone.
Right,
It's like a
no, dude,
Like
that's
the Wet Bandit.
it's like a Peaky Blinders weapon.
Can there be a Hebrew show just called "Turn This Into a Weapon"?
Turn this into a weapon. Household object.
It's a weapon! Exclamation point.
It's a weapon.
It's a weapon.
Alright, so while Damiani tallies the votes, we have some
hard.
gifts to open.
Including this poor little fella
Yeah,
here.
this box got decimated.
He didn't deserve this kind of treatment.
What if Jones is like, "This is from Ian Hink to Kyle Bossman"?
That's a fun
That'd
idea.
be sweet.
Yeah,
should
should
do
do
that.
that. And then it just says like Kyle. You're great. Yeah, it just says Kyle. It's a box of sand.
Greetings, allies.
Feel free.
Oh, as I'm sure the mug would indicate, this is meant for Kyle. I have a yearly tradition of going back and watching the E3 holiday special of the final bossman before E3 starts. You ready?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the story here. Have a good time, dude.
I remember that.
World's best final boss. Do you want to do close-up cam, Damiani?
Oh, sorry.
He's counting. He's counting.
I'll sit in the yeah. Let me stay in the white shot.
There you go. And there you go. Mr. Mine card for you. Mr. Mine.
Mr. Mine.
Kyle's upset.
I have a yearly tradition of going back and watching the E3 holiday special of the final bossman before E3 starts. And this year was no exception. However, this year I ended up going back and watching a lot of episodes of your show. I was quickly flooded with memories of the odd transitional period that was the final bossman. Oh, that the final bossman was made during, and thinking about what came to pass after GT ended. I can honestly say that the final bossman was, and probably still is, my favorite internet show I've ever found. It may sound odd to some, but it was always and still is such a joy to watch. Every episode always came across to me as though it was being made with genuine love and care put into it, even if you were doing bits that you could have admitted were only there because they were funny to you. The episode Fighting the Future is my favorite editorial piece I can think of, where you brought the Xbox One's always online DRM policy reversal to its illogical conclusion. I'm starting to ramble, so let me get to the mug. You, among other things, you had, among other things, a mug on the desk that said World's Best Final Boss, and I always wanted it to say World's Best Final Bossman. It seemed like the kind of dorky thing your persona would have on the show, so I decided to finally make it a reality. The message, "Have a good time, dude," is the one that I've always tried to keep in my mind, especially during my first year of college when the Final Bossman was in its first year. Not going into specifics, my first year of college did not go well, but I always looked forward to eating lunch and watching your show in my dorm. As I write this, I am trying to finish the final steps to becoming a music teacher. So I want to thank you for your show, helping me get through some tough times. I'm starting to ramble again, so I'll leave it there. Love and respect, as always, Jeremy Ferris. AKA Bearlosseraptor 23? Maybe?
Nice.
Thank you very much.
It's cool to even like left aligned like the old sign.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
What's funny
really
is
like
like
that sign.
the message "Have a good time, dude" is for me, while everyone
for
else
you,
is World's
yeah.
Best Final Boss. Yeah, it's cool.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Neat. On the mug. That seems precarious.
Nah, it's good. It's good.
It's gonna break. That mug's gonna break.
I'm a mug pro.
Mug pro.
Make sure I'm not missing letters here.
Induction. Okay. Oh, the letter's right here. There we go. Okay.
Ooh, this is worth showing, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's Jones's P.O. box.
Brandon's name should.
It's everyone's P.O. box.
That's the P.O. box to which you can send.
But you should put Brandon Jones's name on it so he can pick it up.
Yep.
Don't put anyone else's name on it.
Unless it's a care of.
What's your name?
Rabdoin.
Dear Easy Allies, I don't think I could ever express my appreciation for all that you've done over the years. I've been watching your content since the Game Trailers days and have been an avid podcast fan since the start of Invisible Walls. As the years have passed, regardless where I've ended up, I always found solace and joy in the things you have created. When Game Trailers closed, it felt hard, and I'm not ashamed. I felt it hard, and I'm not ashamed to admit I shed a tear during Brandon's goodbye speech on the farewell stream. But whatever sadness or disappointment I felt was soon dispelled with the creation of Easy Allies. Seeing those I had enjoyed watching over the years rise like a phoenix from the flame to become even stronger and better than before has been a joy to behold. My only disappointment was that Elise couldn't join you. Maybe a 100k goal to poach her from Funhouse, but I would settle for a Pervins Tuz Koppel cameo on Tabletop. Thank you. As a thank you for all your hard work, I've made a little something to celebrate Easy Allies. Forever thankful. Love and respect. H.L. Monroe. P.S. Could you send me a link to the VOD of the stream because I would love to see your reactions, but if not, no worries. Mr. Moo in the forums. H.L. Monroe. H.L. Monroe.
And this is to be 2 letters in a last name.
This is substantial, ladies and gentlemen.
You can do
This is not...
K.F.?
Yeah.
Mossman.
Oh!
I think we'll need close-up cam, Damiani, if you can.
Yes. We'll definitely need close-up cam for this. This is very special.
Close-up.
Cool.
Love and respect from H.L. Monroe. So
Nice.
this is a little placard.
Cool. Yeah,
And what's really great about this is an outline of our like Kung Fu Attack ending of that video. And there were 2 key allies that were not in that shot that are still represented, even though it's just the silhouettes. You can clearly make out the lovely hairstyle and profile of Mr. Don Casanova, and of course the imposing pointed hat and arms crossed of Mr. Michael Damiani in the corner there.
That's really cool.
But that is, and it's just rough and great, just right on the edge there. That was sparks flew when this was created.
Yeah.
And it is hefty. This is a major
And
deal.
there's a mounting hole.
It's a weapon.
Copper, huh?
Oh.
It's a weapon. It's a weapon. It's a weapon. You can kill someone with it.
This is beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Would be
H.L.
funny if
That's the show.
they literally like saved up like a year's worth of pennies.
They've melted
It's like one of those machines you just put in, 20 of them and crank it.
Crank it.
All right. Good. Okay. Okay. A fun Switch game case for Jones! Figured you could use this to put some fave Switch games in here. Enjoy, Jones. Easy Allies fan, Win Fox! Yeah! Actually,
awesome.
We also got the custom made thwomp over there. So if anybody maybe wants to take that home, I'll crack that open in just a second.
On display.
Top 10 video game enemy names.
Thwomp is
Gotta be that.
contender.
Oh yeah.
Sound effect and name at the same time.
Another good onomatopoeic name.
Brumac.
Brumac is good.
Yep. Burmac.
Shinnok.
No.
Shinnok.
That's just a completely ridiculous top 10. Top 10 names.
Is that the
I mean, you'd have a hard time picking just the top 10 of
they're all
like
rats.
Super Mario World.
Yeah. Oh jeez, there's a lot to get through here. Oh wait.
So like Super Mario World, where they named everything after like rock stars and stuff.
Might open from the bottom.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is it?
Oh jeez.
Reznor Rhino, or what is it? What is it called?
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Brent Reznor?
Yeah.
Named after Reznor.
Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Wait,
Well,
from
no.
Super Mario World.
Oh, the enemy's named after Trent Reznor.
Yes.
Really?
Alright.
What is it called?
So I listen to
Reznor.
Spelled the same.
Aloha, allies! First off, congratulations on hitting 50K. The past 2 years, 2+ years, have been amazing so far, and I can't wait to see where the new studio will take you. Of course, barring any dips at the start of July.
I've been a proud patron since week 1, and I am just overjoyed on how the EZA community has developed since then. While I'm not active as much as I would like to be, I have a slight case of SAD, social anxiety disorder. I'll be celebrating there with you all once the move inevitably happens. Now on to the other reason for the package. I've been posting a bit on Twitter about my recent trip back to Osaka, Japan. It was a belated excursion to celebrate my birthday in May, and I had an absolute blast for the most part. I went to the electronics gaming anime district of Nipponbashi and pursued a bunch of stores selling games, Gundams, figures, anime, manga, and tons of other stuff. Visited other shopping areas nearby, ate a bunch of good food, even sampling some real Kobe beef and korobuta. I also visited Universal Studios Japan for the end of the Cool World 2018 event.
Yeah.
Not like the movie, though.
Oh, I was like, wait, cool. Japan has everything.
Like I just imagine, there's this whole Brad Pitt Cool World thing in Japan where they just can't let go of that film. Oh, and managed to ride a couple of attractions I didn't get to back in January. The Monster Hunter The Real was fun, although it was really only a walkthrough with huge interactive screens and AR elements. The Final Fantasy XR ride was absolutely brilliant again.
Yeah, dude.
Lucky person.
I can only describe it as a mix of Space Mountain and in-game cutscene, a fully fledged indoor roller coaster with VR goggles.
Sephiroth Cloud. Oh my God.
Yep. If Disney did something like this by mashing up Hyperspace Mountain and something like the Battlefront X-Wing VR mission, I would be ecstatic.
Yeah.
I also rode... I would be ecstatic. That sounds awesome. Sign me up for that. I also rode both Jurassic World, both Harry Potter rides, and the Hollywood Dream Coaster. Not to mention spending more money than I should. I only wish I could have seen the July transition that ends with the Evangelion XR ride. Oh well, next time.
Can we pause for a second?
Yes.
So is Universal Studios Japan really good?
It sounds like it's
Sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah. Sounds incredible.
Sounds like we should just move to Japan.
Park? I don't know, but does he mean park, or did they already build? They already revamped that to be Jurassic World.
I don't know.
Good question. Sure.
They may have built it there first.
Yeah.
Why is that happening here too?
They're redoing Jurassic Park to be World. The ride, yeah.
The only major negative was the earthquake that happened Monday morning.
Sure.
Not a pleasant way to wake up at 8 a.m. Thankfully, it only lasted a handful of seconds, but it was still freaky, and I did a fair amount of devastation. Only the third time I've ever experienced one, and it was definitely the strongest. I'm just grateful it wasn't worse. Inside, please find a labeled gift for each ally, which contains some omiyage souvenirs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Omiyage. In addition to a couple things that can be shared among the group. I hope you enjoy them, as I bought a few of those items for myself as well. Hope you have an amazing summer, and as always, mahalo nualoa for everything you do. Love and respect, Samo Rosman, a.k.a. Namzor.
Yay.
We have definitely received many wonderful presents from in the past. Okay. Ben.
Ooh.
Clapping for Ben. Don.
Wait, are that both done?
I don't know. It's stuck to it, I think. Yeah, it's stuck.
Oh, wow.
Wait, it was like one of those, like an Elmo thing?
Yeah, it's like a lot of bags. Damiani.
Oh, the bags, okay.
There you go, sir.
Oh, Wait, is it? Open them one at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can reveal them one at a time.
Yeah.
What do you got, Ben?
So this is extremely hype. This is my favorite monster in Monster Hunter World.
Really?
Deer Gigante.
Yes. And it's like a little statue?
Yeah, it's a little figure.
Neat,
build.
cool.
We got close-up cam.
Okay.
Oh, close-up cam.
All right.
Oh,
Here, where's the best way to hold it?
right there.
Oh.
Dude.
Whoa. I'm gonna build this right now.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you, Namzor. My favorite monster.
Process of elimination. This doesn't have a name on it. It might have fallen off.
Some of them are for everyone.
I think the ones that are for everyone are not
That's,
packaged.
Got a, wait, is it this camera?
Yeah, this one.
Got a sick Devil May Cry book.
Back.
Bring it back here.
Hold it by
Yeah.
Dante height.
Nice, dude.
Oh, yeah, man.
With
my main man, Reed.
Nice.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. Hanging this on my car windshield right here. Rear view mirror.
that is really cool.
Thank you. Dude, cracking this book open. Got the whale.
Would you just hold it right here?
From where? The whale
Nice,
from One
dude.
Piece, dude. Brock's whale, man.
Sick.
It's got the Straw Hat logo, dude, on there. It's so hype.
Ooh. LED flash plate collection. I believe I got the Final Fantasy VI version of that. I'm not sure what's in there.
Oh,
And I got a Tina Branford pin.
Whoa.
Who's
Which
Tina
is dope.
Branford?
She is
It's Tara.
Tara in the game. She's later been named Tina.
Really?
But
Canonically, she's called Tina now?
now she's called Tina. I
Yeah,
think.
she's always in Japan.
It was Tara. in the game.
Okay.
Think this one is mine?
Oh, I didn't know that either. Oh.
Let's see.
I don't like it as much.
Yeah, I know.
Tina.
Oh, sweet. Monster Hunter the real charm.
Oh, nice.
A little charm.
Actually, has she been changed in the U.S.?
Oh, it's nice. Dual blade.
Yeah, still called Tara.
Oh, dude.
It's
got it.
Razzie.
Like
Pink
City.
dual
Oh,
blade.
is there
I
more?
thought it was even Razzie.
I think it's one of them.
Yeah, okay,
Oh my
got
gosh,
you.
one of those,
Yeah.
I get it.
That's still
I gotta
high.
get
Yeah,
this.
it's so
I
heavy.
gotta get the other one
Dude,
open.
I think it's
Anything else?
Yeah, that's a tape.
still an open.
You're good,
Was it
Damiani.
common?
Okay. I didn't know if there's other.
Oh, so it looks like a guide.
Yeah, dude. Sick.
Man, they really take
That
the
is
heck
cool.
out
Oh,
of
yeah,
it.
this
So
is really-
rad. Is this one? Yeah. Cool, dude. Oh, dude, awesome. Welcome.
Really nice Jurassic Park lanyard back here. ID holder with the lanyard.
Oh, very
dude.
cool.
Be wearing this to the park. Thank you.
Nice.
Excellent, dude. So high.
Yeah, just
Oh,
a
is it
clear,
QR
clear
code?
Universal
Is it
Studios
that kind of
Japan
thing?
thing. I got
Jurassic Park theme.
Titus and Tara and Cloud Sephiroth.
Thank you very much.
Nice.
Ah,
sweet.
make it glow, dude.
So-
Make it glow. Damn
Yeah, that glows.
Oh, it glows!
Yeah, dude.
So good.
Just boys on the bottom.
Look at it go!
Oh man.
This appears to be a hat. A hat and mustache
Going
for
right there.
a Super Mario. Oh, it's for a bottle!
Do it.
It's
Bunny Pelly.
it's a Mario hat. A Mario hat and a little mustache
Oh, yeah,
that you
you
put
want
on a bottle.
You want to lose your Sam Kelly's in
Yeah.
The Sam Telly.
Got
Hold it like near Jones's head. It's most of the
Back, yeah.
cool Ocarina of Time Japanese guidebook.
Crack it open. Show some pages.
Rip this thing open.
Like on maps.
I like the size of it.
Oh, so it's from back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
That's from like the era.
Yeah. So like,
Scissors.
I got a bunch of something.
You got
Yeah.
but also got. I can see already. This is Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah.
Nice.
I see the pants, so I don't know if it's Beerus or Champa yet.
Put it together.
I'm gonna put it together. Champa. This is hype. Why open these? I think it's taped.
It's taped shut like crazy.
And it's actually really hard to open, Damiani.
Brad, is this one of the fruits from One Piece?
Brad boy. Yeah. The
They
devil
have to
fruit,
eat
dude.
Yum
It's the devil fruit.
Wait, how did Jones know that?
What power?
Because
it has
the
One Piece on it.
Everyone's seen the 4
I
kids.
recognized. Oh well, it says One Piece in the back there, but I recognize One Piece logo,
You should.
and I know they eat fruit. That's how they get their powers, right?
Yeah, I did not know
Jones,
that part.
dude, dropping the anime lore.
Yeah, I tried.
How'd you know that?
Adding
Because
this
I paid
charm
attention
to
when it
my
was explained to me.
keys.
Are you on the side that 4 kids ruined One Piece in America?
Yes.
I was asking Jones.
What now?
Do you think 4 kids ruined One Piece in America?
This is very important, Jones.
I don't know.
Sounds unlikely.
Ryuji hype.
Whew, look at this.
It's on there now
I
with
know.
the little Neo
Yeah.
guy. And
is
this
beefy.
this
Flash it, bro.
cosmonaut from the Museum of
Flash
Jurassic
it.
Technology.
Flash it.
Yeah, one of those in Japan? They have a- Oh, I see.
I got
Already
Lee
had
Hing plum candy.
Yo.
Yo, dude. Lee Hing plum candy.
Yo,
Real
that's
deal.
a good brand.
Curious, yeah.
Legit. I don't know about that candy, but they make a good
Yo,
scotch mayo.
I'm intrigued. Can we crack the plum candy open?
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Let's
so I
do
gotta
it.
be
Yeah,
honest.
let's do it.
I got the gloves. I can't do it. Someone else got to do it for me.
It's close to
So this
Brandon,
isn't
right?
Majin Buu. This is like Little Boo.
No,
What's
that's
it?
Majin
Wait,
Buu.
what?
Majin?
Show me.
That's
What's
Majin
this,
Buu.
Majin Buu?
Is
I'm
Majin
just trying,
Buu like
I'm just trying to get in this camera.
bigger, or is it just making a cutie
that's
face?
good Majin Buu.
Okay.
Yeah, he's being cute.
Like
Okay.
that's like his
What's in
most
here, though? I gotta
innocent
know.
form.
Is this just a case, or is there like candy in here or something?
Anybody want some Lee Hing plum candy?
Yes.
That's after he absorbed
funny.
the
I got
nice
you.
Supreme Kai.
So I've got
Oh, look at that.
Here, Joe.
I've got a little mini
That's so
Oh,
cool.
try again.
near
That's pretty cool.
That's so cool.
automatic
Okay.
figure
I
here.
got it.
Oh, nice.
Is it one of the Yorha girls?
You can probably identify it. It's tiny.
Yeah.
And then look at this Pikachu in a cup. Oh, I gotta turn it around.
No, I don't want that, especially when you make that face.
He's just bathing.
Look at that.
All right. I don't know about it, Jones. All right,
Alright.
we'll try it. I don't know about the Lee Hing plum candy.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all tried it.
It's intense.
Nano
We got some
blocks.
kind of candy in here.
This is really cool. This is
Majin Buu candy?
Wow.
super deformed.
They look like Dragon Balls, man.
It's funny because like I feel like their close-up
Yeah.
is not
I
close
have
enough
to
for
try
these
Yeah, we
tiny,
need
tiny
to
things.
crack those.
That is necessary.
Barbecue Cheetos.
You could move up here and we could focus on it.
Barbecue Cheetos.
I don't know about
Barbecue
It's gonna be on the
plum
Cheetos.
candy.
Cheetos.
Here we go.
Yeah, Boomy.
Damiani.
Boomy.
You got Majin Buu candy, man. You gotta get in on it.
Boomy.
Look at that.
Yeah.
As soon as.
We got whatever crazy Dragon Ball candy this is.
Yo. Dragon Ball candy?
That's some
Frieza
Mushakira snack.
Frieza candy for sure. Crack it open.
Look at that.
Kyle, did you want a Majin Buu candy?
How are they?
God of
I don't know yet.
destruction right here.
First impressions are very good.
Very positive.
I want a
Tastes like a
Majin Buu.
lemonade.
Okay, here.
Monster Hunter. Damiani, that's sick.
Beerus.
Yeah.
All right, I think this is fascinating. So this is the studio guide for Universal Japan. And I want to point out something that I think is very interesting on here that you maybe can't see with this camera angle, but that is that Harry Potter is happy. He's very happy in this picture. He's really excited. He's pointing the wand up. There's a whole beautiful world of magic ahead of him to explore here in this theme park. And if you go to Universal Studios Florida, he is pissed off. And like you're the enemy. Like he's like, I'm gonna get you. And you're like, what's the deal, Harry?
It's the old Kirby thing.
I'm going to your land. I'm here. We're Hogwarts. We're having a good time. Calm down. What's your problem?
What's the RP?
I'm with you, Jones.
Majin Buu turned
with
Buu
you.
into
Bulma.
candy. This is Bulma candy?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Oh man.
You want to try Frieza candy?
That Majin Buu candy's really
I feel
good.
about
Yeah.
Buu candy in my mouth. Yeah.
Ben, the next time you go to Starbucks, you might want to use this Monster Hunter cup warmer.
Whoa!
Loads of bullshit!
Yeah!
That's
Is this
so
a map, by the way?
jolly,
Is this a map of
dude.
Japan?
Oh my gosh.
This looks like a
That is
Gundam
so
catalog. Or just a
Ooh.
Japanese toy catalog. Yeah, there's all sorts of crazy
I'd like
stuff
to
in
give
here.
that a little
Yeah,
back.
you did the right thing signing
We got the
that.
studio
I guess
guide
so.
from Universal Studios.
Okay. We finally got Rasmus on there.
What is this now?
Okay, so if you didn't recognize it, Operator 210
Oh.
is the Nero character.
Dude, look at that. Mankind blood.
We have a poster for
JoJo?
a JoJo exhibition.
Sick.
That is that would be
cool.
so much
Look.
fun to go
That's
to.
going on the wall.
That's
Yeah.
brand
Look
new.
at the
That
poster.
should go on the wall.
Okay.
Totally.
That
That man
very
deserves all the
in place.
respect.
So
Is it
weird.
candy? It looks like chips.
Or yeah, I don't know what it is. I still got this Boo candy though.
Is the Boo candy good?
And we got the fruit.
Yeah.
And there we go.
Let's have Frieza
There's
candy.
our little
as
grab
well.
bag. We got Monster Hunter World. I don't know what
Books,
this is.
they're cool.
Books
Oh,
about
weird.
the game, I guess,
It's
that you
like-
can get. Yeah.
Cereal almost.
Yeah.
We have a pamphlet from the Western Japan Pop Culture Center
Namzor? Is that?
Sick.
Namzor, yeah.
from Mr.
Tell me
Namzor.
about the monsters.
Thank you, Namzor.
Thank you. Namzor, this
you.
is so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah, this is us.
Somebody's trying these barbecue
Oh, they still have
Cheetos.
Terminator 2.
Oh,
Do they really?
Jump Shop thank you bags.
yeah, it's so good.
Very cool.
Chat, what's this PS4 game where there's like a 2D wolf?
Hey, Life is Strange. I see Life is Strange there.
Yeah. What is this game?
I don't know.
It looks really cool.
Show chat.
Show it. Let me take a look.
It's a little. I mean, it'll be like.
You gotta do it closer.
Maximize your window, chat. What is this game right here?
Maximize.
Blood, you know
Chloe
this?
hype.
What's
You
that?
got the Hellhound from Berserk.
No. Oh
It
dear.
doesn't have a name?
I mean, you can probably read that.
Actually, no, I can't.
Oh, whoa.
Whoa, dude, advanced Japanese.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's all kanji.
Dang.
What is it, chat?
They've never stumped Blood before. It comes out on May 31st.
It's from the NIS.
Can't tell it. Oh, we don't even have chat up.
This camera shot is absurd.
Yeah, we can't have them up yet.
We can't have chat up because they'll ruin everything.
All right, we still have surprises.
We still have to
I
learn
got
who
you.
won the Hall of Greats.
I got you.
right.
No, we'd have to focus it to do that.
Oh yeah, stay there, Damiani. I'll focus it.
I never knew about
Does anyone know about that teleview?
Oh yeah.
Teleview?
I never knew about
The BS Teleview?
Yeah, the Nintendo satellite system.
I did not know
Same
about
game as Bandai's Teleview.
They sent me a catalog for there's a game for Teleview, Derby Stallion 96.
Yeah, so you downloaded games from the satellite.
And you can tell us what
That's
game
so
This is like a
cool,
sire
dude.
catalog.
Yeah, they had like
of all
that
the
Link to the
horses.
Past game, right?
For,
Well,
for-
that was just
They made multiple
This
games.
is the
How is it?
effect.
Yeah.
They're good, yeah.
No spoilers.
that's such
Is
an
it
item,
sweet
man.
or
That's so
salty?
interesting.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
So what is it? What or
Salty.
Don?
Just try it.
It's a sire catalog from a game, Derby Stallion 96.
Oh my
God! It's a Teleview. It's got all these horses and they're like stats.
That's a winner,
I guess.
Don.
Yeah, the Chrono Trigger sequel is.
Can I show off the Rathian?
I've never
Yes.
heard about this Teleview.
Yes. Oops, sorry.
So it was a box where like you don't know what you're gonna get, and they had Nier Gigante on it, so I thought it was Nier Gigante, but it's the sick Rathian.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bombing.
Yeah, mine was a random.
Hey, these Frieza candy, they're not candies, they're like chips. They're really good.
Oh, Frieza chip and try one, yeah.
They're really good.
Here, I want one too.
It's like
Yeah, I got it.
barbecue-y.
Yo, I hope you have that on your
They're like
pocket at all
blue.
times.
It's barbecue?
Yeah, it's like barbecue-y.
Wow, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Hey, that's really good.
Yeah, they're really good.
Couple, I can't.
They're really good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh,
Okay,
there you go.
Majin Buu turned Frieza into a candy.
Okay.
Super good.
Have you seen
Barbecue Frieza.
I'm good.
All
Have
right.
you seen Fat Boo's Super and Dragon Ball Fighters down here?
I got a gift here
Dragon Ball Fighters.
that was absolutely brutal without a note.
I did it against Damiani.
Okay.
He was running at me. I turned
Oh,
him
you
a
sucked
cookie
me in
and I
ate
ate
me?
him.
Okay.
No note.
Now I know how to play.
No name.
Okay.
We're gonna have to fight for this.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Tournament prize
What
already.
are you gonna do about this right here?
Oh! That's Brad's favorite.
That's
Brad versus
Brad's
Kyle.
favorite.
It could be a tournament
Tournament
prize.
prize.
Yeah.
How come all the Snorlax prizes are tournament prizes, damn it?
Everybody loves Snorlax.
Every time.
There's no note.
Everyone loves Snorlax.
Jones loves it. Look how much Jones loves it.
No.
I'm just mugging for the close-up cam.
Oh, that's a tournament prize.
Fishing for
I fought
mods.
for you, man.
I know you did.
So happy.
Brad wins all the tournaments anyway.
Yeah, he'll win it.
I didn't win the slippers. I got second.
Brad, if I win, I'll give it to you.
Ronflex Relaxo?
Yeah, if I win that one, I'll give
Why
it.
does it say Ronflex Relaxo? Are those other country names?
And that Final Fantasy right seems insane.
Yeah, ENESITNLPT all gets Snorlax.
Yep.
FR, I'm assuming France, is Ronflex.
Wrong.
And Denmark gets Relaxo.
Relaxo.
Relaxo, dude.
Denmark.
Holy moly.
Relaxo. Hyper beam.
He's like, I'm too relaxed.
All right. One more, and then we score.
It rhymes.
So this alleviates all the tension of the scoring for me. Which is nice. Like, it's all great.
Thank you.
All great.
Hall of Great.
Majin Buu candy.
Oh, geez. All right. Okay. This is a saga.
Oh,
Get cozy,
boy.
everybody.
Which Dragon Ball saga?
Huh. We'll see. You never quite know.
Always.
What's up, allies? VG Junkie here. I just wanted to thank you all for putting your hard work into delivering brilliant E3 coverage and the killer content that you have been putting out in recent months. I also want to congratulate you all on hitting the 50K goal. I was in the middle of getting the stuff together when I saw that you guys had done it. I sincerely hope that we patrons can all pitch in, even just a little bit, to keep up the momentum and stay above 50K moving forward, but either way, it's an enormous accomplishment and a testament to how good you guys are at what you do. You have something really unique, and when people get to see you for even a little bit, they take notice of how special it really is. I was going through some of my old trinkets recently, and I found a few things that I now associate very strongly with you guys. I felt I would share some of the love with you all instead of keeping them cooped up with me here. Within this box is just a small little piece of my childhood, items that I've had for somewhere between 11 to 19 years, which have somehow followed me through several different moves until this very moment where I'm pulling a brutal Toy Story 3 on them, except this time, I'm not sure anybody wants them. I'm not a fan of tournament prizes anymore after Brad didn't get the Snorlax slippers.
What? What a coincidence.
So just distribute these to whoever wants them. One double-sided Resident Evil 4 poster, courtesy of Brady Games. Was looking back at the collector's chainsaw you guys received and felt like this was a good match. One of the greats.
Put it on the wall.
As you can see, there is a long-standing tradition of BOWs going for Leon's neck, and I'm happy continues into RE2 Remake. You can throw this out if you want, just wanted to show off this classic.
one last time.
Hang on. This poster tells a story. On this side, he has not yet been chainsawed in the neck.
He's not even looking.
And he's not even looking.
That guy's making a lot of noise.
On the flip side,
I love that they're showing their hero just being brutally murdered.
Awesome. Sliced about the face. Oh boy, how do I reassemble this?
Rate the kill.
That's a 10.
Hoover, is that's for you, or do we studio
On the
post?
wall,
Okay.
dude. So good. And it's one of the great
Resident Evil 4 death.
Tape it to the front of the camera.
Like, you don't even need to go to another game in the franchise. Like, there's enough of them in RE4.
There are.
So wait, are they 4 people, or are they just random?
This is just random. If
Yeah,
anybody wants
yeah.
it, you take them.
Ah.
One Shadow of the Colossus minifigure of the 5th Colossus Avion. Perfect desk trinket, small, fits most places. Avion! So this is the, the flying one.
Yeah.
And he's got his little tail, he's got his wing that came out, and goes over here. And he's got a little perch. You can put him on the spot there.
Ooh, that's kind of fancy.
That's pretty
Nice.
Fancy.
Awesome.
Just
very
sits on
cool.
there.
That was good.
Love it. Love it. Balance. Love it.
That's really good.
A little surprise bonus in the envelopes. Suggestion: pass them out and have people open them. All right.
Okay.
The last box is a doozy, everybody. Inside you will find a weapon. I will then shut off the lights. We'll have 10 seconds to murder each other.
This is a bit or a movie?
I'm just hoping here. Well, it's Clue, but
Okay.
he wasn't like French. I don't know where he got that from.
Dude, I want to rewatch.
Uh-oh. Oh no.
What?
Oh, these are random. They ain't no names.
Yeah. Blind packs.
All right. Boom. Blind packs, everybody. Blind
Blind
packs. Blind packs.
Substantial.
Hand them out. Blind packs.
Cracking packs.
All right. Crack them open.
Cracking packs.
Articuno from the fossil set. Keeping this.
Dude, I got Mew, but it's all in some foreign Persian.
Oh, that is
Damiani.
yeah. That's the.
Wait, I think there might be
promo.
two. I got Dark Persian on one side and
Hypno.
Hypno.
And then Raichu on the other side.
We got two.
Nice.
Don't give it to Brad.
Yeah, don't get
Keeping that.
I got Charizard and Chansey.
Do you want?
Oh, nice, Blood.
Stories and retrieval.
Base set Charizard.
What is this?
Magneton.
Oh, man.
And who's this one,
Trade
Kyle?
you for Ancient Mew.
Deal.
Okay,
Moltres.
thank you.
Moltres.
Sick.
This rules.
I had to double up some of these, and cases might be a little smudged, but these should mostly be mint or near mint with a couple of exceptions. I've had these for about 18 to 19 years, and some of them are worth a little chunk of change, but I couldn't bear to sell them. Instead, I'll give them away for free! I would be happy if these just went to whoever wants them the most, or went to a stack somewhere for posterity. Hopefully each will find a new home. I've usually kept it brief in the past, but I think that with this new milestone for the Patreon, now is a good time for me to share some love with the whole group. Jones, you were the guy that built and captained this ship for a long time, storms and all. Thanks, Papa Jones, for taking this ragtag group of misfits and master memers. Your rants brighten my day whenever I get to witness them, and I appreciate the weekly chat you have with us on Cup of Jones, as well as the personal touch you bring to your editorials. Don, when you're off in the back of a group stream, I can never tell if you're enjoying the show or just thinking about dinos. I appreciate the mystery. Don's Discount Gaming, Backed on the Beat, and the Busted Trifecta are a joy to watch, and some of the best and most original stuff Easy Allies has out there. And I appreciate the other work you do behind the camera and in your edits. The obscure things you bring to the table always add a little spice to the mix, and I like things hot.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Bloodworth, honest question, when and how much do you actually sleep?
Yeah, good question.
Great
question.
It's generally
Trade secret?
It's generally between 3 and 4 a.m. that I go to bed.
What?
And then
When do you wake up?
9 to 10.
What?
Yeah,
6
5
hours.
6 hours.
That's all you need.
Your dedication to responding to comments and management planning skills are remarkable. I get the feeling that without you, everything would fall to pieces. This is true.
Yes, 100% true.
That's true.
Thanks for all your hard work managing things behind the scenes. Smug blood, verticality, no checks. Ian! I feel like you've been knocking your easy updates out of the park this year, and it's always fun to see your sense of humor visible in your review edits. Great job working on the production and equipment side of things. Now with the Switcher, we can see your comedic editing in real time. It seems that you get a lot of unfair treatment, and yet you provide a lot of the flavor to Easy A production that makes videos even more special.
Check out that classic Ian edit on the Captain Spirit review. Oh yeah, some Ian flair in there.
Right now.
Damiani, your visual meme game is second to none, and your dedication to manning the stream setup during E3 was impressive, albeit tough to watch since it looked like you were painfully tired at some points but kept on trucking. While I do not necessarily share your love of Nintendo anymore due to their business and localization practices over the past several years, I can certainly appreciate a basic love for the games and franchises. Keep Salad Mike and Salad Cam on at all times. That goes for Ian as well. P.S. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance is Platinum's best action game. Hubert, you spread your syndrome with every word. The passion is contagious, and to say that you have some of the best reactions in the biz would be underselling it. What is more incredible than the reactions is the endless fountain of hype from which they spring. I could visibly see you feeling the kills during every demo and trailer. I was also happy to hear reports that you will soon become very well versed in Will Ferrell movies. Brad, I really appreciate that you both exude confidence and reek of cool, but also proudly rep FF7 and Kingdom Hearts. The old friends dynamic that you have with Huber is always fun to see because you are a perfect foil for his exuberance. But when the hype moments come, you share in the excitement like everybody else. May Ultima's heart live on inside of you forever. He was the protagonist we all deserved. Ben, you have a passionate and thoughtful love for games and a broad taste that I identify with more strongly than basically anybody else out there. That includes my personal friends, my internet friends, or any other game journalists I've ever followed. The articulate way you communicate your love for things is always a treat, and it makes your zingers even better when you decide to roast something. You always reportedly have gaming anime-related spending habits as bad as mine, so I can relate to that as well. Praise Japan and Japanese products.
Yeah, praise Japan.
Kyle, with the way you incorporate comedy and silliness so smoothly into things, I think that you downplay how much effort and thought you put into making everything as good as it can be. Based on the contrast of how you are in your personal low-key streams versus when you are Kyle Hostman, it is pretty clear to see that you put a ton of energy into making things engaging for viewers like us, and I just wanted to say that it hasn't gone unnoticed. I know that Box Peak didn't turn out to be the project you had envisioned when you proposed it, but I have every confidence that it'll be worth the wait. It was sad that when you missed some of the E3 coverage and didn't get on Frame Trap, but hearing you lose it in the background was a treat in its own right. I live in LA, but have never made it out to a meetup since I wasn't successful in getting any of my friends on board with the memes. But maybe I'll jump into one of you at Sujita Annex or something one day. That's it for now.
Time out. Nice. Like, hey, do you want to hang out with Easy Allies? And they're like, no.
Hard pass.
They keep saying no checks. I don't know what it is.
That's all for now. Please rub Sophie's belly for me the next time you see her. You can count on it. Love and respect, VG Junkie.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
VG Junkie.
Wow. I feel something like deeply personal when we get the Pokemon cards. You know, that's
Sure.
That's it. Oh, got it.
I like that they were random too. That made it fun.
This applies to a lot of people, but VG Junkie has been a consistent weekly hunter. I always happy to jump in there and help him out. So thank you, VG Junkie, for your assistance on the hunts.
VG Junkie.
Good hunt.
Good hunt.
VG Junkie.
All right, it's time.
Uh-oh.
It's time.
Oh, right. We have to hate each other now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm nervous again. It all came flooding back.
If Paper Mario gets banned,
Chippendale bag
I'm
too.
gonna fucking cry.
All
I
right.
think that's probably
My prediction is nothing's getting banned.
My mic is on? Yes.
Is your mic on?
Yes, it is. So, in the good news department, Kyle was right. Not a single game is banned. Every game got at least one vote. And since we don't have the vote for your own game rule, you don't get banned unless you get 0 votes.
Nice.
Good stuff. All right, we already won.
Yeah. All right. So, tying with 3 games tied with 1 vote each. Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh!
Got you.
Not expected.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take these off as they go bye-bye. It's like the deleting the universes.
Ooh, I like
like
this.
I'm Zen Osama here, deleting the universes.
Careful, Damiani.
Mega Man Legends from Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Also got 1 vote.
Thank you for that.
Keep going.
And Time Crisis 2 from Huber.
Oh, nice.
My vote saved it apparently.
More than one vote.
All right.
It was a stiff competition.
Yeah.
Here we go. So with 2 votes coming up next, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze.
Whoa!
Wow.
Everything is surprising.
This is insane.
We'll take it.
Wow.
Alternate reality.
Wow.
All right. What do we got left? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left.
SimCity 4
All right,
beating
so
GTA 5, I love it.
with 3 votes, SimCity 4. All right.
Live play.
So now the next 4.
Contender.
Only 2 are getting knocked out. 2 get in.
I know. So, so do you want me to reveal the next one that got knocked out?
Yeah.
All right. So it's 7 votes, which put in 4th place Dragon Quest VIII.
Damn it!
What? One of these teams is not getting in.
That's Universe 6. All right.
Run back immediately.
And now we're into the top 3.
Good play.
All right. So which do you want me to reveal next? I have 3 left.
I think you have to reveal the runner-up.
So just the second place.
One that got in, yeah.
One that got.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So coming in second place with 12 votes, the first of the 2 inductees, Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
You made it! It happened! How did it happen?
You did a good job.
You
We
guys-
voted for you.
You exceeded my expectations. Oh my god. Okay, that's awesome.
It's in, baby.
And the other game that gets in.
No, do the one that gets knocked out now.
Oh, want the one that gets knocked out?
Yeah.
All right, the one getting knocked
Right?
out.
No, why draw attention to it?
Yeah, you're supposed to do the
Yeah.
Well, you want the winner?
Yeah.
All right, coming in first place, the next game in, and your second inductee for this Hall of Greats with 19 votes.
Oh my god.
Metroid Prime.
Yes.
Meaning Silent Hill 2 came in third with 8 votes.
Oh, missed it by 1.
Not bad.
Super Mario was 9?
No, it was by 4.
No, 12. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But third place, very close. And those are your winners. So again, Metroid Prime with 19. Paper Mario with Thousand-Year Door 12. Silent Hill 2 with 8.
That spread.
Dragon Quest 8 with 7. A little weird. SimCity 4 with 3 votes.
Dragon Quest?
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze with 2. And then Time Crisis 2, GTA 5, and Mega Man Legends each with a vote apiece.
Nice.
Thank you, Huber.
2 and 10.
Appreciate the backup.
Yeah, man.
Maybe bring it back.
I was worried that Paper Mario was going to be bad. I really was. Holy shit.
They're in.
And as
All greats.
as everyone should be pointing out correctly, Metroid Prime was developed by a Western studio, which makes it our first Western game to get inducted into the Hall of Greats.
Could I cheat?
It ain't right.
Oh boy.
The votes, they go how they go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't all decide together, like, oh, it should only be these games. We vote.
We vote.
We
We
vote.
bring what we bring, and we
Yep.
vote how we vote.
Yep.
Yeah, those were my 2 top picks, and I didn't play either of them. So
Really? You went
I
on
was-
Paper Mario, dude?
I did Paper Mario. I was
Brandon!
Ben. I was
Nice.
floored, Ben. I thought you really put your heart and soul into that presentation. I really,
Those are my
I was
two top
moved.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, it put his heart and soul in Xenoblade, and that one didn't get in.
I voted for it, for that one. I voted for Metro.
Did I present Xenoblade?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta present that again. That was that was poor then.
So we will see. Will we get a bunch of different games in 3 months? 3 months? 3 months? 3 months? 3 months when we return to the Hall of Greats? Will people introduce new titles, or there will be, salty returns
Yeah.
and revenge plays?
They're not always salty. Sometimes they're
Salty by
I
definition.
just am trying to educate you all about it.
Right. And we are certainly learning more and more about that game. I'm excited for the next. I'm excited to actually get my hands on it in 3 months at the Mega Man Legends preview event at the next Hall of Greats.
Your speech this time was bizarre.
It was we're very.
It was a weird thought. It was a first draft of an idea.
Yeah.
It penned on paper.
Yeah,
Not even typed out.
I did.
Felt the passion.
Yeah.
Words were crossed out.
Yeah.
There were notes. You drew a couple great drawings during the stream too.
Was there any collusion?
There was some collusion, I think. I think that Bossman kept his in the running by some collusion.
Yeah. Alliances are legal.
They are legal.
Kyle's the only one
Do
doing
we have
them.
to disclose those?
Don and I have an alliance.
It's true.
I voted for Don.
I voted for Don as well.
Well, then, like, forge an alliance if you're just doing it out of sympathy.
I'm not doing it out of sympathy. I played a PC game live and Hall of Greats. I respect that.
Yeah, me too. Got my third vote.
Okay, clearly we got to sort all of this out internally, emotionally. We got a Q&A coming up this Saturday. I unfortunately will not be in attendance. Any other hot streams coming this week?
Kyle, do you...
Yeah, we're going to announce our group streams for the rest of the month.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Right now?
No!
Yeah.
All right.
Right
now.
Do you have the dates down, Blood?
I do have the dates down.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
July 3rd,
Next Tuesday.
Mario Tennis Aces.
Yes. Not a tournament, we're just playing it. Just playing it. Yeah.
For funsies.
See Kyle beat Luigi.
July 10th is a tournament.
Yes.
I'm excited for this.
Trial Fusion.
I'm excited for this.
Yes.
It's going to be prepared for that.
July 17th, Red Faction Gorilla Remastered.
Yes.
Weird?
No, weird name.
Weird one.
July 24th, the Mega Man X Collection.
Yeah.
5 Tuesdays.
On July 31st, we got 5 this month. We're gonna, well, if it works, we're gonna test it first. The Brazilian Mega Drive.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say Mega Man X Collection again, but that's
It's legal in Brazil.
It's totally legal in Brazil.
It's legal in Brazil. It's fine.
We haven't. I don't know how much Hogue knows about Brazilian law, but we'll
Does it
double-check
cover us?
Anything this week? Thursday, I believe 8 p.m. or 6 p.m. I'm playing Unravel 2 with my lovely wife Amanda. We'll be doing a little spouse quest on Unravel 2.
Nice.
That's
Thursday-
a fun game.
Thursday at 9 a.m. Patreon exclusive, and for that reason,
Ooh. Yeah.
episode
thanks,
3.
Blood. Yeah.
Episode 3.
Episode 3 is a good one.
5 is my favorite.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Look forward to it. In 3 weeks.
I've said this on other occasions, but just to say it here amongst the group, like I'm going to be gone visiting family for a couple of weeks.
I really need to leave and pack and get on the plane.
So is Bloodworth. So I won't be on group streams and I won't be doing personal streams, but I'll still be doing Easy Allies work. There's a Don't Skip that is coming from me. You won't be able to guess it, which is really exciting. I don't think you'll be able to predict what it is. Doesn't mean you're going to like it, but it should be fun.
Persona 3.
No, it's
Ski
Persona 4.
This is the first thing you ever did.
It's not
Grand Theft Auto
a
5.
I don't think you can get that. There you go.
Near.
Some of you know what it is.
Picross 3D.
No. That's a good Don't Skip. No.
Paper Mario.
Oh, 922. My goodness. What a chunk of stream.
Jones, is this cool?
What a deep one.
Is this
What?
cool?
That move?
Oh.
I've been doing a lot of this lately. I'm doing that.
Oh, I did not like that.
It's like it's so excited.
That's brand
Is that
manager,
too
yeah.
thick? You don't like that move?
So
This
let's
is real
work at it.
spidery.
Yeah. Any other streams? Before we say goodbye to these fine people?
Terra Enigma, 9 p.m. Pacific time.
Yes, Kyle.
Friday.
RPG released in Europe and Japan, never in the US. It's your chance to
Solid
check it out. Yeah.
Check it out.
Kyle, does it live up to the hype?
Lives up to the hype, yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Like, it's not super hyped, right? It's not a game you hear about all the time.
But I feel like the people that have told me about it have been really intense about it in a good way. They're passionate about it.
Yeah, it's not the game I expected to be. It's very, very cool.
Fiasconauts Friday. It's gonna be good.
Tabletop
It's gonna be a good
tomorrow.
one. Tabletop tomorrow. Got an easy update for Saturday. Don't know what that'll be about.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Silent Hill 2. Again.
That was last week.
Yeah.
Silent Chill.
You can see our schedule below here on twitch.tv/EasyAllies. You can also go to easyallies.com if you want to see our fun schedule and a bunch of fun events. We do have some other fun stuff happening in the month of July that we've yet to talk about. We're looking forward to making some announcements there. And if you want, if you're feeling it, if you like hanging out with us, you want to hang out again, well, Tuesday nights we'll be back 6 p.m. with another group stream. But you can go to patreon.com/easyallies. You might have heard people talking about the 50K goal. What that is specifically, if we stay above 50K for the foreseeable future, we will be moving out of this fine space, out of my house. I will be kicking all these boys out. We will actually be getting a studio that we will be building from the ground up. Those kinds of things can happen. These kinds of streams can happen
We use
because
that
of the support.
language. We're not literally going to build the structure.
Concrete.
We're gonna rent a place.
2x4s.
Yeah.
It's like
Although that'd be a great episode, building a house together.
Adobe.
We'll look into it.
I choose Adobe.
A tent village.
But you can potentially become a patron of Easy Allies, patreon.com/EasyAllies if you want to financially support us. That is how we live. That's how we're functioning. That's how we keep doing what we're doing. And obviously, as you can tell from all of the lovely snacks and toys and posters and pieces of art and everything we got from our community. They love us a lot and we love them. And we thank you so much for watching this evening. Have a good night, everybody.